Stanley Cup champion New York Islanders hockey is brought to you by Bud Light. The best has a taste all its own, satisfying but never filling. So ask for Bud Light. By the Bank of New York, the bank New Yorkers call their own. Datsun Nissan, builders of high-mileage, high-quality cars and trucks for 50 years. Available at your Datsun dealer. By the people of Eastern Airlines, they earn their wings every day. By Mobile Detergent Gasoline, power for your everyday needs. Brought to you in part by New York, New Jersey Buick dealers. When your New York, New Jersey Buick dealers give you a price, believe it. Canon, proud to be the world's leader in 35mm photography and the official camera of the 1984 Olympics. From the Boston Garden, WOR-TV presents the New York Islanders and the Boston Bruins. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jiggs McDonald. Ed Westfall is on hand at the Boston Garden, but not joining us on the opening tonight. Eddie under the weather with laryngitis. Tough battle for anybody in the broadcast business. We can only wish them well as the Islanders and the Bruins meet one another for the final time in the regular season. The Islanders have lost both games, losing at home by a 4-2 score, and were shut out the last time they visited the Boston Garden. In fact, they've gone 5 straight visits here in the regular season without picking up 2 points on this Boston team. Tonight, you're going to be watching a battle between the teams that are currently in 3rd and 4th place in the overall standings in the National Hockey League. The Bruins are trailing the Buffalo Sabres in the Adams Division. The Islanders come into it 1 lone point ahead of the Washington Capitals. Now, both teams have played 74 games, so they're even in that department. They'll meet again one more time in the regular season, and we'll have that game for you here on WOR as well. Bill Smith is expected to be in goal tonight for the Islanders, and that would mark the first time since early in February that he has played back-to-back games. Al Arbor have been going with an alternating situation between Smith and Roland Melanson, but Bill Smith will face Boston for the 3rd time this season. The Bruins expected to use Doug Keens in goal. He shut out the Islanders when they played here back in January. So tonight should be an entertaining game, a preview of the playoff matchup again, perhaps, as the Islanders meet the Boston Bruins. We'll be ready for the opening face-off from the Boston Garden right after these messages.
Hey, Jim, ready to go a couple rounds, man?
Yeah.
Hey, Chan, how's everything ready to go?
I hear you good. I hear the same about you.
Gotta reach deep inside. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light.
The best. It has a taste all its own. You get your chance. Enjoy it.
Budweiser Light.
Nissan technology versus the bottom line. The challenge, create room for 5. Power for passing. Outstanding mileage. The solution, Sentra. A major value from Nissan at a sticker price of just $51.99. The Nissan Sentra.
Come alive, come and drive. Major motion from Nissan.
At your Datsun dealer.
You know, jeans made of Burlington stretch denim with ESP aren't just jeans. They're Jeans Plus.
Incredible comfort.
They're Jeans Plus.
A fantastic fit.
They're ready for you right now in A&S Men's Department. Levi's for men jeans in Burlington's new stretch denim. Now at A&S. Terrific.
Burlington stretch denim. Discover the pluses for yourself.
ESP Extra Stretch Performance Denim. Another first. Made better in America by Burlington.
Uniroyal Laredo SR. You may never need an off-the-road tire this good. You may never need Uniroyal's off-the-road tire technology unless you also drive one place that most off-the-road tires find very uncomfortable terrain. On the road, where Laredo's ride is smooth and quiet. The all-terrain Laredo from Uniroyal. You may never need a tire this good.
Sending documents for million-dollar deals across the country doesn't intimidate me. I trust Emory, desk to desk.
Call Emory. We've earned the trust of American business.
The Islanders completing their 12th season in the National Hockey League. They have a record of 5 wins, 14 losses, and 5 ties regular season here at the Boston Garden. There were 5 games played in the National Hockey League last night. Let's bring you up to date on the scoreboard. At Edmonton, the Oilers defeated the Hartford Whalers 5-3. At Buffalo, the Sabres over Montreal 4-2, and Buffalo swept the 8-game series this year against the Canadiens. At Pittsburgh, it was the Penguins 3, the Toronto Maple Leafs 1. Washington with a 5-1 victory over the Minnesota North Stars, and the Caps with 93 points, the Islanders with 91. And at Chicago, the Blackhawks put a little distance between themselves and the Toronto Maple Leafs in a bid for the 4th and final playoff spot in the Norris Division. It was the Blackhawks 6, the Winnipeg Jets 2. There are 3 other games being played in the National Hockey League tonight, affecting the Patrick Division standings. The Rangers and the New Jersey Devils. Pittsburgh Penguins are playing at Philadelphia tonight. And later on, the Detroit Red Wings will meet the Flames in Calgary. Mentioning the standings and how things can turn around a little bit, let's take a look at the Patrick Division. The Islanders on top with 94 points. The Caps with 93. I mentioned, I believe, that the games were even. They are not. Washington playing last night now with 75 games played. The Islanders playing game 75 tonight. Philadelphia in 3rd place, 88 points. 3 ahead of the New York Rangers, and then it's the Devils and the Pittsburgh Penguins bringing up the rear in the Patrick Division. Over in the Adams Division, the Buffalo Sabres are 6 points ahead of the Bruins. Buffalo with a record of 46, 22, and 7, and the Islanders play in Buffalo on Sunday night, a game that we'll have for you right here on WOR beginning at 7 o'clock. The Bruins, as you see, in 2nd place with a record of 44, 25, and 5. Quebec with 89 points, still an outside chance to catch Boston perhaps and finish in 2nd place. Then it's Montreal. They have clinched the playoff spot. The Canadiens with 75 points, the Hartford Whalers with 59, bringing up the rear in the Adams Division. I mentioned that the Islanders and the Buffalo Sabres will play on Sunday in a game that you'll see here on WOR. We still have 2 other games following that matchup. On Saturday, March 31st, the Islanders and the Washington Capitals at 7:30 from the Capitol Center at Landover, Maryland. And then the following evening, the finale of the 80-game regular season, the New York Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins, 7:30, Sunday, April 1st, from the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. More preseason baseball coming your way on WOR. The Mets and the Pirates this Saturday afternoon. Mets and Pirates Saturday afternoon. Upcoming preseason baseball. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Islanders and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Islanders is prohibited. I'm Jiggs McDonald, Ed Westfall alongside Eddie, as I said at the beginning, out with laryngitis tonight. The Islanders will play without Pat LaFontaine, who is out of the lineup as a cold, and the team, not wanting to take any chances of it getting any worse, decided to leave him behind, and Billy Carroll will take his place in the lineup tonight. Ed has just jotted me a note that says injured. Bring that microphone down and let the folks hear just how injured it is. No, it's not even going to do that. We're going to try and get it oiled up for one of the intermissions at least, see if he can't visit with an old teammate of his who now coaches the Boston Bruins in the person of Jerry Cheevers. We've just had a presentation take place on the ice. That is the reason for the slight delay in getting the game underway. And while we await the national anthem, let me just tell you that playoff tickets go on sale to the general public this Saturday morning at the Nassau Coliseum. The main ticket lobby only. I'll tell you more about that when we get an opportunity. The crowd being asked to rise. Mr. Rene Rancourt on hand for the singing of a national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, their bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of
Capacity crowd here at the Boston Garden as the Islanders meet the Bruins. The referee will be Brian Lewis. The linesman, John D'Amico and Gerard Gauthier. That's Gerard Gauthier who just skated into your picture. And, of course, the veteran John D'Amico, the other linesman. Bill Smith facing the Bruins for the third time this season. He has a lifetime record of 10-17-4 against Boston. And for the sixth time in his career has posted 20 wins in a season. And there is Doug Keens, 18-8-2 on the year, has faced the Islanders only once in a Boston uniform, shutting them out here back in January. Al Arbor sends Brian Trottier to center ice. Greg Gilbert on the left side, Mike Bossy on the right wing with Pearson and Potvin at the blue line. Casper on the faceoff, and Trottier breaks in quickly. He scores! Trottier, 5 seconds into the hockey game, slips the faceoff through to the blue line, picks it up, and beats Doug Keens. Brian Trottier's 39th goal, his 351st career goal. Watch it as he got it to the left side. Off O'Reilly, moves in, picks it up. The top of the face-off circle by the outstretched glove of Keens, who was way up on top of the goal crease. In fact, out into the face-off circle. But it's 1-0. Trottier unassisted at the 5-second mark. Now the puck cleared right into the penalty box from the second draw of the game. That is not a National Hockey League record, but it is doggone close. Trottier on the draw, got it to Bossy, to Janssen, now to Langevin. Back to Thomas Janssen. Janssen to Langevin, who comes to center. The pass to Gilbert. Laid it in around the boards. Keene sets it off. Knocked it away from O'Connell. It comes right back to Janssen at the blue line. His shot steered aside by Keene. Bossy into the corner. Lays it around behind the net. Trottier chasing it with Milbury. Casper over for the Bruins. Got it ahead to Jim Nill, and he's dumped it to center ice. Langevin for the Islanders, shooting it right back in again. Milbury takes a look. Plays it to O'Reilly. Now to Nill at center. Comes over the Islander line. Can't get through the defense, and Gilbert clears the puck back into the Boston zone, and it'll go right to Keens across the board. Some sarcastic cheers being leveled in the direction of Keens after that routine save. Here's Bork with a shot. Wide of Smith on the stick hand side, and Cinelli clears it, but not out. John Blum goes in on the right side. Blum dumps it around the boards. Flatley over on right wing now for the Islanders. Unable to clear it out. It'll be picked up by Janssen. Flatley, Brent Sutter, and John Cinelli, the forwards. Cinelli took Blum off the puck. It's picked up by Brent Sutter at center ice. Couldn't get around Barry Peterson. Peterson is checked. Flatley takes a hit from Blum as he held the puck on the boards. Continues to work for it and dumps it back of the net. Keens plays it to the corner. Cinelli takes a hit there along with Krushelnyski. The puck comes back. This is Kenny Morrow. Morrow's pass went off Middleton, right to Potvin. His drive steered high and wide. There was some slashing going on out in front of the Boston goal. And the first penalty of the game is being handed out by referee Brian Lewis. We have 18 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the first period. A break in the action. The Islanders lead the Bruins 1-0.
This was New York's first bank, the Bank of New York. Today, we're one of the country's most dynamic banks, a major processor of government securities and mutual funds, a leading lender to such industries as communications, construction, and utilities. Yet we've never outgrown our commitment to personal service. Only one New York bank has endured to celebrate a bicentennial, the Bank of New York, looking ahead for 200 years.
That's John Blum in the penalty box. He was acquired from the Edmonton Oilers organization right at the trading deadline. Blum off for slashing. He was hacking away at Flatley in front of the net, and there's Potvin drilling it wide. The penalty to Blum called it 142. Ray Bourque has cleared the puck down into the Islanders zone. The Bruins have the second best penalty-killing team in the league. Washington is first, Boston second. The Islanders with the seventh best power play. Both their goals prior to Trotier's opening goal here tonight. They come while they had a manpower advantage against Boston. They're 2 of 8 on the season in that area. Potvin holding on to the puck has given it to Tonelli. Flatley moves down right wing as Tonelli comes over center and dumps it in. Milbury and Flatley go after it. Flatley to Tonelli. Couldn't get it out in front of the net. Has kicked it loose. Flatley unable to set up Brent Sutter. Gets control of it now to Potvin. Into the corner for Sutter. Back to Potvin at the left point. That's a goal, and it was off the stick of Doug Keens, and Middleton has cleared it down the ice. 1 minute and 5 seconds left in Blum's penalty time as Potvin picks up the puck. Trottier has come out with Bossy and Gilbert as the Islander forwards. Potvin at center, shot it in around the boards. Krushelnyski stepped in front of Bossy, and there's Milbury with it. Plays it to the right side for Nil. Found an opening, but it was blocked at center by Potvin to Trottier. Across to Bossy, comes in on left wing. Mike Bossy holds on to the puck. Cuts inside and shot it wide. Ersan picks it up on right wing. Into Greg Gilbert. To Bossy. Bossy trying to come out of the corner. Went to center one that hit the back of the net. Milbury around the boards. It's held in by Persson. Persson to the right side. Bossy took quite a hit from Milbury after making the play. And the team's back at 6-5. Well, not quite. 19 seconds left in Blum's penalty. Here's Trottier to Janssen. Slaps it around the board. Bossy goes in after it along with Trottier. Bossy comes out of the corner with it. Being watched by Nil. Gets away from him. Trying to cut in around O'Connell. They couldn't get the shot away. Lost his balance as well. Gilbert back to Persson. Teams at 6-side as Persson shot was steered wide by Keens. Trottier slapping at it. Bossy cut through. Was upended. No penalty call, and Nil has cleared it down into the Islanders' zone. It'll be wide of Bill Smith, and an icing call here against the Boston Bruins. We have 16 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the opening period. This game is coming to you live from the Boston Garden.
You gotta keep him out of there!
I'm used to him yelling, but not at me.
Taste all its own.
Nice game.
Enjoy it.
After the last shift, Mike Milbury limped back to the Boston bench, appeared to be favoring his right knee. Getting some attention from the training staff. The Islanders lead 1-0 on Brian Trottier's goal. The Bruins have cleared the puck to center ice. Fergus moves up. That's Langevin back using the left wing boards with a pass to Clark Gillies. Now to Langevin. Bush scoring over to Dwayne Sutter. Fergus came back to take it away from him. Gets over the line with Klusak. Shot it wide of Bill Smith, and backcourt is Johnson. Now to Gillies. Clark Gillies, a long pass up the right wing ahead of Dwayne Sutter. Goring picked it up, and he was over 2 lines, and that's an offside call. 15 and a half minutes remaining in this opening period. We're mentioning that tickets for the playoff games will go on sale Saturday morning at the Nassau Coliseum. Tickets are priced $32, $27, and $22. The pairings for both the Patrick Division semifinal and the Patrick Division final, first and second round matchups not determined yet. But this Saturday morning at 10:30 in the main ticket lobby of the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Sale of tickets for the playoffs to the public. Langevin and Fergus going for the puck following the draw. Fergus comes out of the corner, got hammered by Gillies' check. Mark Gillies has cleared it out and down into the Boston zone. Klusak will go back. There'll be an icing call here against the New York Islanders. Trottier unassisted at the 5-second mark of the opening period tonight, right from the face-off, making it 1-0. The Islanders unsuccessful with their power play chance. One went off for slashing. Let's take a look at the hit leveled by Clark Gillies. Of course, Bruin fans remember him from the playoffs a few years ago when he and O'Reilly squared a couple of times. There he ran into Tom Fergus. Fergus having another pretty good season for the Bruins. 23 goals, 33 assists. Only 10 penalty minutes. Bruins have had an awful lot of injuries this year. Their total is somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 man games lost to injuries, illness. 253 total games that they have lost. People, or at least players. Billy Carroll is out for the Islanders. Cleared it, but not out. There's Fergus for the shot. 6 save by Smith. Big rebound. Carroll picked it up. The back of the play. Tripping penalty to Stefan Persson. A holding penalty, rather. Persson for holding. So the Bruins will have a man of power advantage coming up. We'll return to the Boston Garden right after this message.
Nissan explodes interest rates on trucks. Now get low 8.8 annual percentage rate on any new Nissan truck. 8.8%. You can save up to $600 on Nissan's lowest sticker price truck, up to $1,200 depending on the model and options. 8.8% is the lowest factory-sponsored truck financing around, but it won't be around long. 8.8%. Major savings on major motion. From Nissan, only at your Datsun dealer.
Look at the penalty. Stefan Persson putting the grip on Bork at the side of the net. And Boston with the power play. Persson for holding at 4:52. Trottier has just picked up the puck and cleared it down the ice. Billy Carroll comes out to replace Trottier. Bourne goes into forecheck. Bothan and Morrow together on defense as Bork plays it to the left side. O'Connell comes over center ice. Shot it around the boards. It rolls off the boards, on and off the mesh. Back of the net, Potvin battling for it. Middleton picks it up, comes out in front of backhander is high and wide. Peterson back to the point for Bork. That's the shot go, and it was blocked in front, hitting Crowder. Bob Bourne feeds it up to center ice where Billy Carroll is unable to knock it away from Bork. Peterson shoots it back in. High off the glass. O'Connell comes in after it. Mike O'Connell takes a look. Send it to the point for Bork. But the shot goes. Fifth to save. Middleton on the rebound. It hit Potvin, and Carroll has cleared it down the ice. 1 minute remaining in the penalty to Persson as Goring, forechecking, has knocked the puck away from Kluzak. O'Reilly around to O'Connell. Mike O'Connell gives it to Middleton at the Boston line. Center ice, back to O'Connell, to Peterson on right wing. To Middleton, who took it off his skates, goes to the corner, centered one, knocked down. It's loose and batted wide by O'Connell. Middleton shot to a screen was tipped. O'Reilly couldn't get it away, and the Islanders successful in clearing it down the ice. Ord Kluzak waits for his teammates to come back. Bourne is out to forecheck along with Brent Sutter at the moment. Hugging it into center ice is Fergus. Shot it wide of Bill Smith. Bob Bourne hustles back, taking off the puck. But Langevin backing him up has cleared it down the ice. John Keynes out of the Boston goal, gave it to Kluzak. Now to O'Reilly on right wing. 10 seconds left in the Bruin power play. O'Reilly went to the left side. Fergus back to O'Reilly. To Donnelly on right wing. Donnelly cuts inside. The pass went off Billy Carroll's skate. Boston penalty, or power play, I should say, has expired. The team's at 6 aside. Shooting it into the Islanders zone is Curran. Bossy takes it off the board. Works it up the left wing to Trottier. 3 Islanders move up. They're across the Boston line. Trottier to Gilbert. He shoots right into the pads of Keynes. Reached behind to make sure it went no further. Now a little scuffle on the boards. Trottier watching as Gilbert is pushing and shoving with Curran. Curran drafted a couple of years ago from the Portland team in the Western League. No damage done. We'll take a break in the action here. Still 12:47 to play in the opening period. The Islanders lead the Bruins 1-0.
If you've been getting by with your old car because you couldn't swing the payments on a new one, you ought to get a goodbye loan from the Bank of New York at a guaranteed fixed annual rate. Then you can say hello to a nice new car and say
Goodbye, old clunker.
to your old one. The Goodbye Auto Loan, only from the Bank of New York. Guaranteed fixed rate for new and late model used cars, 12.9%.
As we come back to the Boston Garden, you had another look at Keynes. The pads pulled together, blocking the shot from Greg Gilbert. No penalties after that pushing with Curran and Gilbert. Curran fed the puck to center ice. Fergus dumped it into the corner. That's Neal going in after it. Morrill takes him to the boards. Crowder comes in late. Bruce Crowder pried it loose to the blue line for Curran. Lets the shot go, and it's tipped wide. Picked up and brought out by Casper. Fosse chases him back in the net. Casper trying to center the puck. Got it to Crowder. Bruce Crowder being bothered as Boudelier moves up on him. Now Neal and Trottier going for the puck. It came loose for Bruce Crowder. Centers out of the reach of Dill. Curran over on the left wing. Carries it to the side of the net. Goes back to the goal. Tried to stuff it in, but right through the goal crease into the stick of Fosse. Fosse down the right wing. Big slap shot from the point. Pad save by Keene. Curran was back to clear the rebound for Boston. Took a hard hit from Greg Gilbert. In the meantime, Casper into the Islanders' zone. Potvin took him out on the board. Bruce Crowder unable to center the puck. Bork for the Bruins. Unable to get it away from Kenny Morrill. They go to the boards together. Steve Casper battling Morrill for it. One-handed it out in front of the net, but right to Bosse. Bosse plays it to center. Coming back for it is Kluzak. The Islanders leading 1-0 on Brian Trottier's 39th goal of the season. The Bruins have dumped the puck into the Islanders' zone, catching the Islanders in the middle of the player change. So Persson went back, gave it to Potvin. Now to Tonelli on the left side. John Tonelli goes rink wide with a pass to Nystrom, who's over the line. Works on Kluzak. Centered one, but Fergus was there. Fired it off the boards. Nystrom moved in, but not in time, and Tonelli recovers out at center ice, giving it to Potvin. Potvin banks one off the skate to Nystrom. He shoots off the goal post. Nystrom hit it right up with a crossbar. Meets the post, and the puck ends up at center ice. Here's Potvin. Potvin to the left side. Keith Crowder picking it up. Got it into the Islanders' zone. Persson across to Potvin. Out to center ice. His pass was deflected. Keith Crowder gets to the Islander line. Is knocked off the puck by Persson, and Potvin went back. Out of Tonelli. Tonelli moves up with Brent Sutter and Nystrom. Got away from Middleton. Works on Blum. Lost the puck. Krushelnyski gave it to Peterson. To Middleton. Ricky Middleton over the line. Fires one. Bad save by Smith, and Langevin hustles back of the net. Langevin trying to outskate Peterson. Left side to Brent Sutter. Sutter is over the Boston line. The pass to Tonelli. Tonelli lets the shot go, and that was off Curran. O'Connell rounds the Bruin net. We're midway through the opening period. O'Connell comes over center ice with it. Tees it up, fires a long shot. Low on the ice. Smith making the stick save. Krushelnyski was knocked down by Langevin. Peterson dug it loose to Middleton. Oh, what a stop by Smith. Middleton had him dead to right. Puts it in front again. It's kicked away by Johnson. Peterson and Gillies go to the corner together. Peterson up with the puck to Krushelnyski, who shot it wide. Smith dives on top of it, and there's no further play. Boston putting on pressure. The Islanders lead 1-0. We'll be back right after this message.
Hey, Jim. Ready to go a couple rounds, man?
Yeah.
Hey, Chan. How's everything? Ready to go?
I hear you good. I hear the same about you.
Gotta reach deep inside. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light.
The best. It has a taste all its own.
You get your chance.
Enjoy it.
Budweiser Light.
Good end-to-end action here. Bob Nystrom got away from Kluzak. His shot up on Keens to the left side off the goal post. Now Middleton with a shot. Smith stuck the right pad out, but it had come off the post. It appeared to hit the pad originally, but on that replay, you see it coming back from behind Billy Smith. It's still 1-0. Peterson knocking the puck down in the Islanders' zone. Couldn't get it to Middleton. Here's O'Connell to the blue line, and he elected to work it around the boards. Krushelnyski centers. Middleton to Kluzak, and he shot it high. Smith knocks it down, dives on top of it, and there's no further play. We have 9 minutes and 31 seconds left. Period number 1 here at the Boston Garden as you look at 33-year-old Bill Smith in the Islander goal. He used to have a shots on goal clock at the Boston Garden, but no longer. Smith didn't have a whole lot of work to do in the first 5 minutes. Then the Bruins came to life. Boston, I'm told, with 9 shots. The Islanders with 7 to this point. The only goal, Trottier at the 5-second mark. Trottier facing off with Peterson. The draw went back to Smith, who steered it aside for Bourne. Into center ice, right side to Nystrom. The play broken up. Bourne recovers. Gave it to Morrill. Now to Potvin. Billy Carroll has come out to replace Trottier as Bourne got spun around at center ice. Nystrom gets over the Boston line. Nystrom on his off wing, trying to get around Bork. Centered, and Carroll shot it wide. Bork and Nystrom to the corner. Bourne comes in to forecheck as well. They tie up the puck for a face-off to the left of Doug Keens. What a story Keens has been. Free agent goaltender. Boston signed him in the offseason. He won the backup job to Pete Peters. He's facing the Islanders for the second time of the year, but Keens, 18 wins, 8 losses, 2 ties, 2 shutouts, and a 3.19 goals against average. He had been the property of the Los Angeles Kings. We watched Nystrom coming in on the left side. Ray Bork forced him to go wide. Nystrom put it out in front, and Billy Carroll's shot was just wide of the net. Coming back for the puck following the draw is Boudelier. Gave it to Persson, now to Gillies. Clark Gillies over center ice. Across the Boston line on left wing, trying to get in around O'Connell, was bumped. Curran picked up the puck. Tried to give it to McTavish over on the left side. He's checked by Persson. Gillies and Gillis battling as well. Clark Gillies for the Islanders and Jerry Gillis for the Boston Bruins. Face-off will be to the left of the Bruin net. The Islanders home to face the Minnesota North Stars on Saturday, the only visit of the year by the Minnesota team. Philadelphia has taken a 3-0 lead over the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. New York Rangers leading the New Jersey Devils 2-1 in the first period of that game. Here the Islanders are up 1-0. Bork off the left point, blasted one off the ankle of Keith Crowder. Persson out at center, just knocked it away in time. Dwayne Sutter, got it to Persson at the Islander line. Goring picks it up now to Boudelier. Boudelier takes a hit as he played it across to Dwayne Sutter. Ran into Curran's check. Sutter works it back of the net. There's Clark Gillies. Gillies out in front, right into the catching glove of Keens, and he'll hold it for a face-off. And Goring cutting in at the time, but couldn't get there. Mentioning Saturday night in the Minnesota North Stars, that's also going to be Banner Day for the New York Islander Booster Club. Looking forward to banners, information. I guess probably a little late for information, but you can check with members of the New York Islander Booster Club at gate 6 and 16 prior to the game on Saturday. We'll send along our best wishes to Eddie Westfall for a speedy recovery. Eddie alongside, if you've just tuned in, he has laryngitis. He's tested the vocal cords a couple of times. Spent a long time in the steam bath here at the Boston Garden, and even that didn't work, huh? They can't hear you shaking it. Despite anything you've said over the years, you still can't hear you shake that head. A little jostling going on after the ball start on the face-off. O'Reilly and Gilbert nil in to say a few words. Ray Bork was there as well for Boston. The veteran Terry O'Reilly had a shoulder problem. The Bruins people still maintain that he cannot shoot the puck as well as he normally does. Can't lift that arm. Trottier between Bossy and Gilbert as they line up to the right of the net. Fergus to take the draw for the Bruins. Bossy tipped it to Janssen. His drive, and that just went wide of the net. O'Reilly picks it up. Dumps it into the center ice area. Janssen back for the Islanders. Now to Langevin. Over to Thomas Janssen. Janssen's pass off the stick. Bossy picks it up at center ice. Dropped it back to Trottier. Trottier played it to the right wing. It went off Bossy and is recovered by Janssen. Casper got a piece of him. Here's Neal coming across the line. He drew a crowd, tipped it into the corner, goes in after it. Langevin down, the puck is beneath him, and there's no further play. Still 7 minutes and 49 seconds remaining here in period number 1. There's a look at the Boston captain, veteran of the Boston Bruin organization. It's really about the last link to the Stanley Cup years. O'Reilly came the following year after the last one, right? Look along the bench, of course, you've got Jerry Cheevers, Gary Doak, who were part of the great Bruin teams of the past. A team that finished first overall last season in the National Hockey League. They got the draw neatly. Casper to nil, but his drive is deflected to the corner. Ginelli is out with Brent Sutter and Pat Flatley. Morrow and Potvin on the points. Flatley picks up the puck, gave it to Tonelli on left wing, working on Bork as he comes over the line. Poked it into the corner, and Casper back to help out. Works it to the left side. Mill is checked. Flatley fires one off the glove of Keynes. Here's Bork starting out. Ray Bork, who has had more shots on goal than anybody else in the NHL this season. Left side to Casper, back to Bork, and he couldn't get a shot away. Potvin tying up Bork. The puck loose back of the net. Casper reaches in for it. Gave it to Bork. Bork shot tipped wide of Bill Smith. Smith dives on it at the side of the net. And there's no further play. There is a break in the action here at the Boston Garden. The score, the Islanders 1, the Bruins nothing.
When Wall Street breaks another record, who keeps tabs on the ticker? 1010 wins. All news, all the time. A surprise press conference at Gracie Mansion. What's the best place to catch the story? 1010 wins. The station over 2.5 million people a week turn to first. If subway switch problems grind the morning rush to a halt, where do you rush? 1010 wins. The minute something happens, your first reaction is to reach for us first. 1010 wins. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Getting ready for a face-off in the circle to the right of the Islander net. The Bruins have Peterson at center ice, Middleton on the right wing, Krushelnyski on the left side. For the Islanders, Trottier on the draw had Bourne on the left and Bossy on the right. And this is Trottier being tied up by Middleton as he got out across the line. The pass to Potvin. Shoots it in around the boards. Curran will pick it up. Boston playing without the services of Jim Schoenfeld and Guy Lapointe, a couple of veterans. Trottier just shot it wide. So they have Curran up on their defense at the moment. Morrow and Potvin out for the Islanders at the Islander line. Krushelnyski unable to get it away from Morrow. He shot it off the linesman. Trottier trying to pick it up. Peterson dumps it into the corner. That's Potvin going back. Potvin takes a look, trying to find somebody up the middle. There was nobody there. Now he draws Middleton toward him and plays it around to Gilbert on the left wing. Off Gilbert, O'Connell, and here's Peterson at center ice, shooting it right back in. Bill Smith leaves it for Morrow. We have 6 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the opening period. Kenny Morrow's shot was deflected by Fergus. Out in front, Krushelnyski blasted it, and Smith, who has made the save and holds on. Look at a couple of all-stars out there as we take another look at this play developing in the Islander end of the ice. Kenny Morrow's clearing attempt. Hit Fergus, went to the corner. Krushelnyski trailing the play. And there's the save by Bill Smith on the short side. Watching Middleton and Bossy tonight, a couple of the best right-wingers in the league. Each of them with 45 goals coming into this game. Middleton, 50 assists for 95 points. Bossy with 66 assists, giving him 111 points. Persson coming back for the puck. Around the boards, Keith Crowder bumped by Boudelier. Now Donnelly hit hard by Trottier even after the puck. Collision in the goal crease as the Islanders move up right wing. Here's Nystrom. Puck knocked away from him, taken by Bork to Blum. John Blum to Fergus. Back to Bork. Bork comes up the middle, goes to the left side. Dave Donnelly unable to get it across to Keith Crowder, who's been tied up by Billy Carroll, and the Islanders cleared up the right side, just out of the reach of Nystrom. Not far enough for icing as Blum was back. John Blum bumped by Nystrom. Bork came back to pick up the puck. Gave it to Fergus. Over center ice with Keith Crowder. Fergus shot it wide of Smith, the loose puck. Fergus and Crowder in after it. Now comes back to the blue line. Kluzak dumps it into the corner. Persson took the feet out from under Crowder, and there's going to be a penalty on the play. 5 minutes remaining in this opening period. It'll be the second Boston power play of the night as Persson goes off at the 15-minute mark. The Bruins, as I told you earlier, with the 6th best power play in the league, get an opportunity to put it to work again. Next Islander action for you here on WOR will be Sunday night at 7 o'clock. The Islanders and the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo leading the Adams division. The Islanders leading the Patrick division. And Saturday the 31st, the Islanders and the Washington Capitals at 7:30. And the following evening, Sunday, April 1st, the Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins completing the regular season beginning at 7:30. All road games involving the Islanders in the playoffs will be here on WOR, except games against the New York Rangers. There's the penalty. Persson taking Keith Crowder down. Persson off for tripping. Trache got the draw, and the puck has been cleared into the Boston zone. Goring races it after it as Brent Sutter comes out to replace Trache. Kluzak parked behind the Bruin net. Plays it to the right side to Peterson. Left it for Middleton. Rick Middleton over to Gord Kluzak. Brent Sutter skates him into the boards. Kluzak gets turned around, controlled the puck, got it to Middleton. Middleton to O'Connell at the blue line. His shot, he scores! It's Krushelnyski logging things up in front of the net. O'Connell got the shot away from the right point. Let's see if it's deflected or not. Ricky Middleton with a good pass back to O'Connell. 25 in front of the net. O'Connell apparently will get the goal. It'll be his 18th of the season, a power play goal for the Boston Bruins. Another look at it. Krushelnyski certainly screening Smith as O'Connell puts the puck in the net. So it's goal number 18 for O'Connell. Comes at 15:30 with Pearson setting up the tripping penalty. Middleton gets one assist. Kluzak will get the other. So we're tied 1-1 with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the opening period. Flatley is across the Boston line. That's Flatley into the corner for Brent Sutter. Trying to pull it away from O'Connell. Is grabbed and hit hard by Curran and knocked down. Flatley in a battle for it. Can't get it away from McTavish. There's Gillis back for the Bruins. Gillis around to the right wing. Langevin stepped into Crowder, knocking him down. Bruce Crowder. In the meantime, McTavish into the Islanders zone, runs into Jansson's check. Hard hitting now as Brent Sutter and Gillis collided. Langevin tried to knock Bruce Crowder off his pins. The puck came out in front, away from McTavish, and Langevin gets it to Flatley on right wing. Flatley is bumped. Lost his pick. Gillis picks up the puck. Gillis to the left side. Curran shoots it into the Islanders zone. Smith leaving it for Thomas Jansson. To Gilbert on left wing. Greg Gilbert, long pass to Flatley. At Flatley, likes to shoot it in around the boards. It went right to Keens, however. Now Bork feeds it up the left side. McTavish over past the puck. It came right back to him. Gives it to O'Reilly on left wing. To McTavish, and he couldn't make contact with it. Trache starts out for the Islanders. Long pass to Bossy. He's onside. Works on Bork. And it's knocked away from him. And Nill has cleared it to center ice. This is Pearson. The Trache dumps it in wide. Keene comes out to cut it off with John Blum. Trache into forecheck. It's Blum quickly to the right wing. O'Reilly couldn't hold it. Boudelier shot off Bork and wide of the net. Ray Bork to Blum, who will pick it up back of the net. Blum banks it off the boards. Pearson recovers at center ice. Gives it to Boudelier on the left side. Now to Trache. Took a hit from O'Reilly, and Casper has cleared the puck into the Islanders zone. There'll be no icing on the play. Bill Smith around to the corner. Gillies comes back. He and O'Reilly collided. O'Reilly ends up on the deck. Boudelier leans into Casper, and Pearson feeds it up to Bossy. Works it high in the air and down into the Boston zone. Bossy took a hit from Mill after making the play. Gillies ran into O'Connell. Now O'Reilly runs into Gillies, and they're set to go again. Clark Gillies and Terry O'Reilly. Everybody converges. The playoff year of 1980. The semifinal series, the Islanders and the Bruins. The memories dredged up here now as you see Gillies and O'Reilly. They didn't get going the way they did several times during that semifinal series. But they were the main combatants. There'll be some penalties here. Called at the 17:50 mark. Let's take a look at what led to it. Gillies and O'Reilly had met at the Islander end of the ice. Then as Gillies had his man in the Boston zone, O'Reilly came in with the left shoulder. Didn't take Gillies long to react. Not a whole lot of damage done, but they'll get some penalties here. There's Clark Gillies. They get roughing penalties at 17:50 of this first period. Jerry Cheevers Talking to linesman John D'Amico, who's come back along the boards at the Boston bench. Bob Bourne and Al Arbor talking it over at the Islander bench. The score tied on goals by Brian Trottier for the Islanders, Mike O'Connell for the Boston Bruins. Islanders orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jeff Binkoff asked us to send along best wishes for a speedy recovery to Janet Spector, good Islander fan. Tuned in to WOR tonight, checking out the Islanders and the Bruins. Luzak with the puck, back of the Boston goal. Scoring and Dwayne Sutter were forechecking. Luzak gave it to the left wing. That's Casper coming over the Islander line. Drop pass to Luzak. Centers one that rolled wide of Bill Smith. O'Connell in off the blue line. Gave it to Casper. Jim Nill is there as well. Nill put it out in front. O'Connell gets turned around, and the Islanders pick up the puck but fail to clear it out. A break for Casper, and his pass cut off by Morrow. Pushed it ahead, and a hand pass will result in a face-off deep in the Islanders' zone. The Bruins, with a momentary break, unable to capitalize on it. Face-off will be on the edge of the circle to the right of Bill Smith. Here's the play. The puck loose. Two Bruins going for it. Casper had his pass cut off by Morrill, and then he pushed it ahead off Dwayne Sutter's stick to Goring. The hand pass results in this face-off. Brian Trottier has come out to take the draw against Barry Peterson of the Bruins. First intermission guest tonight will be the vice president in charge of officiating in the National Hockey League, Mr. Scotty Morrison. Kenny Morrill for the Islanders. To Trottier, now to Bourne, who comes over the line with a drive that went bouncing off the defenseman Blum. Bourne into the corner. Middleton stepped in front of him. Middleton to Peterson, off his stick, and Potvin will pick it up. Kenny Potvin to Bob Bourne. Back to Potvin. The pass went behind him. Nystrom comes off the boards, got bumped by Peterson, and here's Middleton across the line. Morrill chases him wide, knocks him down, and Middleton goes into the boards heavily. Peterson with the puck. Peterson turns, shoots up one right through the goal mouth. Comes out on the left side. Bourne failed to clear it out. John Blum turns, dumps it to the corner off Morrill's stick. Kenny Morrill plays it back of the net for Potvin. Less than a minute to go in the opening period. Morrill to Bourne, now to Nystrom. Nystrom bothered from behind as Krushelnyski caught up with him. Nystrom got away from the check and dumps the puck in. Eanes leaves it back to the net for O'Connell. O'Connell carries it to the blue line. At center ice, shot it wide of Bill Smith. Backcourt is Johnson. Gave it to Bossy. Bossy across to Brian Trottier. Trottier at the center ice zone. Sends Bossy over the line. Bossy cuts to the left wing. Holds on to the puck. Langevin at the point helps out. And it's finally frozen as Bossy came back. Langevin had knocked the man down. The man in this case being Bork. And we'll get a face-off with 12 seconds left in the period. Trottier, Bossy, and Bob Bourne remain out on the ice for the Islanders. Now Bourne comes back. Langevin moves up on the left side as you see him at the bottom of your picture. The other defenseman will be Thomas Johnson. 3 seconds remaining in the penalties to Clark Gillies and Terry O'Reilly. Each off for roughing. Trottier pulled the puck away from Casper to Langevin to Johnson. Shoots it into the Boston zone. The team's at 6 aside again. Time running down in this opening period. Kluzak took a look at the clock. Fires a long shot that bounced wide of the net as the siren sounds. Ending the opening period. Bill Smith heads for the Islander dressing room. The only one to beat him was the power play goal by O'Connell. He was tested a couple of times, got some help from the goalpost at the other end of the ice. Keynes a little shaky on the first shot. Another one that went off the goalpost as Nystrom ripped one that beat him, but hit the post up at the crossbar. So they head for the dressing room after one period of play here at the Boston Garden, where the score is tied. The Islanders won, the Bruins won. Back with a recap of the opening period right after these messages.
Today there's a new power on the road. The first Nissan 300CX. 3 liters of fuel-injected turbo-thrusted V6 motion. 200 horses strong. The all-new Nissan 300ZX. It'll snap you from 0 to awesome.
Come alive, come inside. Major motion from Nissan.
At your Datsun dealer.
This was New York's first bank. Founded by Alexander Hamilton, it was the first bank to lend money to the U.S. government, the Bank of New York. In this, the bank's bicentennial year, it's a time for looking back, but also the time for looking at the present. You'll see we're one of the country's most dynamic banks, a major processor of government securities and mutual funds, one of the foremost corporate lenders to such diverse industries as communications, construction, and utilities, one of the leaders in money management and personal banking. Yet this dynamic bank has never outgrown its commitment to personal service. Perhaps that's why, of all the banks in New York, only one has endured to celebrate a bicentennial. The Bank of New York, looking ahead for 200 years.
Inflexible Express.
Hi, can you get a package to Yugoslavia?
Absolutely, positively not.
How about Taiwan or Peru?
Absolutely, positively not.
Well, Purolator Courier can. We're more flexible than a certain express company. We now serve over 100 countries, so the courier that delivers the most packages overnight in North America now gets them to even more of the places you want. Call Purolator Courier. You want it, you got it. Worldwide.
The Lee Miles Transmission Protection Service. For only $10.95, we'll change your transmission fluid and give you all these other services to help prolong the life of your transmission.
After one period, the Boston Bruins and the New York Islanders tied 1-1 at the Boston Garden. The shots on goal in the period by the Bruins 10, by the Islanders 7. The scoring went this way, right from the opening faceoff. Ryan Trottier, his 39th goal of the season, the 5-second mark. People had barely settled into their seats when Trottier opened it up, a shot beating Keynes at the 5-second mark. Then at 15:30, Mike O'Connell scores the power play goal for Boston. The defenseman getting his 18th goal of the year. Middleton and Kluzak assisting. It came with Persson in the penalty box. The Islanders 0 for 1 on the power play. The Bruins were 1 of 2 with a man advantage. And late in the period, Hercules and Terry O'Reilly got pushing and shoving. Nothing too serious developed, each picking up 2 minutes for roughing. The Islanders with a chance when Bob Nystrom broke in on the right side. Got away from the defenseman, then shot one off the goalpost. At the other end of the ice, Bill Smith appeared to have made the save originally, but the shot by Middleton, beating him on the right side, came off the goalpost, rebounded out in front of the net. The Islanders appeared to have the better of the play in the early going, and Boston later on in the period seemed to get some new legs, and especially after the goal by O'Connell, were taking the play to the Islanders. The story on Boston the last few games, apparently, listening to the reporters here and people who've watched the Bruins regularly, inconsistency. 1 good period, 2 bad periods. That was a pretty fair period, in my opinion, for both teams. If it's a playoff preview that we're watching tonight as it was a year ago, then certainly it's lived up to the advanced billing. Good hockey game, end-to-end play. The goaltending was good by both Keynes and Peters. And as mentioned, the Bruins outshot the Islanders by a margin of 10-7. So we're tied 1-1. I'll be back with Scotty Morrison, the Vice President officiating of the National Hockey League, when we return to the Garden right after this message.
At last, one airline has done something unique for America's senior citizens.
For only $1,199 each, we can travel anywhere Eastern flies in the U.S. for a year. So we're going to visit our niece in Boston, our kids in L.A., and dear old Mom in Florida.
If you're 65, you qualify. Your Get Up and Go passport also entitles you to major discounts at participating hotels. Call Eastern or your travel agent for details.
Eastern's Get Up and Go passport. It was worth waiting for.
Sometimes it's reassuring to know your car will perform well. That's why stunt driver Michelle Slate relies on mobile detergent gasoline. After all, a car with a clean carburetor performs better. It's as simple as that. Mobile detergent gasoline for your everyday driving needs.
Canon, is proud to be the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics. Like gold medalist Frank Shorter, it takes a special breed to compete at this level. Here, the Canon AE-1 program performs. Shorter leaves the rest behind, but the AE-1 program catches him, computing as it's shooting.
And it practically runs itself, even with the flash.
Canon's AE-1 program, so advanced, it's simple.
For Bola wines, Franco Bola.
Sono Franco Bolla.
Why do so many people prefer my Suave Bola to other fine white wines? Taste. Not just exceptional taste, but exceptional taste every time the wine is served. That is why I make sure that our Suave Bola tastes crisp, dry, smooth, always. After all, when you're a Bola, you don't let your friends down. You can always trust the taste of a Bola.
Leave right after. Back at the Boston Garden, the New York Islanders and the Boston Bruins are tied 1-1 at the end of the first period. I'm Jakes McDonald, Ed Westfall out of our WOR lineup tonight because of the bout of laryngitis. And the guest, the vice president in charge of officiating in the National Hockey League, used to refer to him as a supervisor, the chief referee, and almost anything else, Scotty Morrison. Scotty, what brings an individual with the job of your description to a hockey game in Boston where you've got some senior people working? What are you looking for?
Well, just like anything else, Diggs, we're getting ready for the playoffs. And this week, for example, I was in Montreal on Monday and Washington last night, or New York on Tuesday, I should say, Washington last night, here tonight, and Toronto on Saturday night. So we're watching these fellows, whether they're senior or our junior people, just watching for little things that we may talk about and then have them up and ready just like the clubs for playoffs.
Come playoff time, not all officials, referees, or linesmen get to work. What determines who gets to work in the playoffs and who doesn't?
It's strictly rating and performance, Jiggs. I sit down with my management team about 4 or 5 times a year, and we do a complete, what we call a staff evaluation and rating. And then when starting off in the playoffs, for the preliminaries, we have 10 referees and 18 linesmen. Then we drop quickly to 10 linesmen and 8 referees, go down to 6 and 8, and then for the finals, we select our best 3 referees and our top 4 linesmen.
Probably ruined some friendships that way too, huh?
Well, no, I think by now, Jiggs, they understand that it's performance. Sure, they're unhappy when they're not selected, and we wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't want an official coming up and saying that, he was happy he wasn't selected. So they understand that while experience is very, very important, and so is seniority, it's the performance throughout the year that really determines it.
Scotty, how do you react to criticism, both print media, electronic media, that there's inconsistency in the officiating in the National Hockey League? What's your reaction?
Well, Jiggs, I think if we could coin another phrase other than inconsistency, I'd be a little surprised. But I think sometimes the charge is an accurate one. Other nights, I don't think it is. I think that what some people might consider to be inconsistency, I think maybe the official is using good judgment. It's a good competitive game. You don't see the players complaining at all. They understand that the referee wants to let them play, providing they're going to stay within the rules. And they understand that penalty in the first period, a lot of people say if it's a little trip in the first period, it should be a little trip at the 19-minute mark of the third period. You and I and everybody else connected with hockey knows that the game isn't played that way. And it's something that we try very hard to overcome by the use of videotapes and training seminars. I don't think we're ever going to succeed to where everybody's going to say, you have the most consistent officials in professional sports.
Well, I don't think that day will ever come either, Scotty. Let me ask you this. Every year there seems to be a new little wrinkle, something changed in the rules. I know there's a rules committee, which you're a part of. Certainly your officials have some input, too. What type of things are you working on to change the game or rule changes for the future? Maybe not next year, but down the road a little bit.
Well, there are a lot of little things, Jacobs. There's nothing really major this year. One of the concerns, just for an example, one of the concerns at the general manager's meeting is that there's a lot more players now wearing the eye protector, or the face shield. And they feel that sometimes when those players are the instigator of a fight, that perhaps with that face shield, they should either be made to take the helmet off, or if they're clearly the instigator and the aggressor, then with a face shield on, perhaps they should get an extra minor penalty. Now, that's just one of the things that has come up for a suggestion. The main rules meeting, of course, will take place in June, but there really isn't an awful lot on the slate this year.
What about the possibility of doing away with the red line? Has that been discussed recently?
No, that hasn't come up at all. One of the things that I'm sure you'll be interested in is it's been up twice now, and I'm very interested in seeing how the NFL approach it, I should say, and the Canadian Football League, and that is the use of video replays for example, in scoring of goals during the playoffs. We won't use it this year, but it's under serious consideration that the referee would have, if it was his decision, if he's blocked out on the play and the linesman can't help him and the goal judge really can't help him, that he would have the use of going to a video replay. Whether that's going to come or not, Jig, there's a lot of things to take into consideration before it becomes fact, but it's something that we're seriously talking about.
That would be used only in the case of a goal being scored or questionable a goal being scored. Nothing to do with penalties or that type of thing?
No, sir. Nothing to do with even offsides or an offside pass that results in a goal. Just simply goal in or not in.
Well, of course, the precedent has been set in the NC2A playoffs. I believe it was a week ago in some regional play. The officials wanted to know who had committed the foul and went to the replay monitor. The game is changing, Scotty. We've told you for years. The broadcasters have been right. You're finally coming around to it, huh?
Well, let's take the game in St. Louis where that puck went in behind the from behind the net. Yeah. Andy Van Helleman, one of our top officials, was convinced it went in the front. Now, if there was a real protest on that, and he said, all right, if you really think, he would look at it, and obviously, having seen that on the replay, he would then rule no goal.
Any thought given to allowing the coach or general manager to ask for a videotape replay a limited number of times in the course of the game?
That has been talked about. One call per game, the same as the one timeout. There's a lot of things being suggested along that lines, but I guess camera angles and the various number of rinks that we're in, Jig, that's probably the biggest problem we're facing right now.
Well, you can tell them any game they're working where Eddie and I are on hand, they can just check with us, okay?
Just ask you and you'll give us the answer.
Connie, we're always there to help. I appreciate you coming by. Thank you for the visit.
Nice chatting with you, Jig.
Connie Morrison, the vice president in charge of officiating in the National Hockey League. The Islanders and the Bruins are tied 1-1. We'll return to the Boston Garden right after this message.
Nissan explodes interest rates on trucks. Now get low 8.8 annual percentage rate on any new Nissan truck. 8.8%. You can save up to $600 on Nissan's lowest sticker price truck, up to $1,200 depending on the model and options. 8.8% is the lowest factory-sponsored truck financing around, but it won't be around long. 8.8%. Major savings on major motion. From Nissan, only at your Datsun dealer.
What does it take to excel?
I know the deadline. You'll get it tomorrow.
It takes speed, reliability, economy. It takes express mail next day service from the post office. Our 2-pound pack is just $9.35 overnight, and we deliver over 95,000 packages on time every day.
Yes, we got them. Oh, and Jerry, thanks.
Express mail service. We deliver excellence for less.
Over 10,000 doctors in Big Apple Country have joined Blue Cross and Blue Shield to offer our healthiest employee benefits plan ever. With a commitment to the future, our physicians will link their fee increases to the Consumer Price Index, doing their share to help you control costs. All neatly wrapped and called Wraparound Plus. Call 1-800-554-PLUS to learn more about Wraparound Plus, the healthiest group benefits plan ever from Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
If doing business around the world takes too much time, discover the AT&T International Business Network.
Mr. Columbus.
With AT&T, you can reach decision makers everywhere quickly.
Queen Isabella?
Attend an international teleconference.
Your Majesties?
But where are you?
Without leaving the U.S. Send exact copies of key documents internationally in minutes using fax.
I'm not in the East Indies?
The most cost-effective way, the AT&T International Business Network.
Tonight's guest receives from Fortunoff, the source, a Seiko quartz watch. See Seiko's winning combination of quartz accuracy and unique styling at Fortunoff, the source. Seiko, setting the standard for the world for the future. The Islanders and the Bruins tied 1-1 here at the Boston Garden. This Saturday morning at the main ticket lobby in the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, playoff tickets go on sale to the general public. This Saturday morning at 10:30, a total of 7 home game tickets will be sold for the first 2 rounds. They'll be sold only in the main ticket lobby. The bracelet system may be imposed at the discretion of the Nassau Coliseum security director. But I remind you, the ticket prices will be $32, $27, and $22 per ticket. Strip of 7 for the first 2 playoff rounds. A goal by Brian Trottier at the 5-second mark opened up the scoring tonight. And O'Connell with a power play goal at 15:30 for Boston tied it. Pearson sitting out a holding penalty at the time. Islanders defending the goal to the left. The Boston Bruins the goal to the right as we get ready for the second period. I'm Jakes McDonald, Ed Westfall with laryngitis tonight. Keep you updated on the other games in the National Hockey League as scores become available. Philadelphia was leading Pittsburgh 1-0. Or 4-1, excuse me, at the end of the first period. 4-1. Flyers leading Pittsburgh. Trottier unable to pick up Langevin's pass at center ice, and Casper has dumped it in. Mike Milbury did not return to the Boston players bench for the start of the second period, by the way. Johnson comes over the Boston line. The pass to Gilbert went behind him. He races to the corner, put it out in front. Back to the point for Langevin. Lets the shot go, and Keens made the save. Trottier to the corner for Gilbert. To Trottier in front. Shoots Keens the save again, and Bork picked up the rebound. Ray Bork fired it off Bossy's stick. It goes over the glass and into the seats. We're 36 seconds into the second period. Let's take a look at Doug Keens and some of the work in that Boston net. The puck came back to Trottier. Saw the puck rolling, but off the stick of Keens. The face-off comes outside the line after it had been cleared up into the seats. I'd like to congratulate the Rome Catholic High School Red Wings, who won the New York State Division II championship on St. Patrick's Day up in Glens Falls. They tied the game with 6 seconds left in regulation and then won 42 seconds into overtime, 5-4. And our congratulations to Bill Fleet, the coach of the Rome Catholic High School Red Wings. Watching the Islanders and the Bruins here on WOR tonight. Peterson has cleared the puck ahead to Middleton, but across 2 lines. The short ice surface here at the Boston Garden. It'll catch up with you. The Bruins play it very well, and so they should. They get a lot of time to practice in this building. Look at Ricky Middleton. The Islanders with Brent Sutter between Pat Flatley and John Tonelli. Peterson at center ice, Middleton on the right, Krushelnyski on the left side. The puck came back to Kern. He gave it to O'Connell. Cross to Kern. Kern up to Krushelnyski. Over the line, holds on to the puck as he goes in on left wing. Middleton was knocked down in front, and there'll be a penalty coming up. John Tonelli took the feet out from under Middleton. So the Bruins get an early power play chance here in the second period. A break in the action with the score tied 1-1.
I'm used to him yelling, but not at me.
The best has a taste all its own.
Nice game.
Enjoy it.
John Tonelli in the penalty box. A hooking call at the 1:10 mark. Third power play of the game for the Boston Bruins. Peterson, Middleton, and Krushelnyski up front, and Potvin cleared it. Not out. There's Bork. Over to Peterson on right wing. Put it off to the side of the net. Smith caught it, held on to it, then pushed it up into the chest of Krushelnyski. The Islanders go home to face the Minnesota North Stars on Saturday and then into Buffalo for a game that we'll have for you on WOR Sunday night. The Islanders complete their home season next Tuesday with a visit from the Montreal Canadiens. That'll be Montreal's only visit to the Coliseum this year. Potvin cleared the puck to the blue line. Bork took it from O'Connell and shot it around the board. Kenny Morrow draws the crowd. Peterson tried to knock the puck away from him, but went right to Trottier. Trottier out on this right side. Fed it to Bourne. Works on Bork with a drive that went over the top of the net. up the left side for O'Connell. O'Connell takes a little time setting up the play. The pass into center ice to Bork. Across to Peterson on left wing. Barry Peterson's drive off the blocking glove of Smith. Peterson plays it around to O'Connell. Billy Carroll steps into O'Connell, and Peterson picks up the puck again. Now to O'Connell. O'Connell centers it. Brushelnicki turns and was cut off in front as Bourne came back to help out Bill Smith. And the Islanders force the Bruins back with 60 seconds left in Tonelli's penalty. The game tied 1-1 as Bork starts out. Ray Bork shoots it wide of Smith. He cuts it off for Johnson, off the boards, up to Butch Goring. Slaps it into center and down into the Boston zone. Keens out of the net to cut it off for Kluzak. Kluzak gave it to Fergus. 35 seconds left in the power play. The Bruins taking a little time getting organized here. Keith Crowder over to the right side to Bork. Shot it around the boards. Fergus comes in after it. Fergus trying to set it up at the side of the net, but Keith Crowder was too well covered. Thomas Johnson in a battle for it. Wins the battle and comes to center ice. Stepped over Keith Crowder's stick, but maintained control of the puck. Johnson off the boards. Fergus drops it back inside the Boston zone. 10 seconds remaining in Tonelli's penalty. Now Bork hitting it to Donnelly, and Billy Carroll took it away from him. Carroll trying to clear it. It hit Keith Crowder, and now Langevin has dumped it down the ice. Tonelli is back on. The team's at 6 aside. 1-1 tie at the Boston Garden. Bossy coming back. Knocked the puck away from one of the Bruins. Got it to Greg Gilbert. To Trottier. Trottier hit by Kluzak as he dumped it in around the board. That's Ray Bork being bothered by Gilbert. Bork pass. Fergus fed it to Donnelly, who comes over the line on left wing. Johnson chases him to the corner with a neat check. Keith Crowder came in, failed to pick it up. Bossy goes back for it. Lays it up the boards. Here's Curran at the left side. He shot it wide. It was tipped. Smith the save, and a dandy save as Keith Crowder was parked right on the top of the goal crease with him. Got it up on the stick-hand side. Smith making the original save. Let's go back and take a look at it. There's Curran shot off the point. Keith Crowder knocks it down, tips it on target, got his own rebound, and Smith hung right with the right post. Couple of good saves. There's the first and the second. Langevin comes across, takes care of Crowder after Smith had made the second stop. Bruins outshot the Islanders 10-7 in the opening period. Game tied 1-1. Bossy after the draw, giving the puck to Persson. Up the left side to Gilbert. Now to Stefan Persson. Backhanded it around the boards. Gilbert goes into the corner to pick it up. Unable to get it out in front. Now Curran clears it right to Boudelier in deep. Boudelier holds on to it, centers it back to the point. Persson a drive through a screen, deflects wide. And went off Bill, and now Gilbert gets checked in the corner. The puck loose on the boards. O'Reilly works it ahead to Nill. In Nill to Mike O'Connell. Comes over the line on left wing with a shot that went off Persson's stick. Ends up back of the net. Trottier around to Greg Gilbert. O'Reilly leaned into him. Gilbert got away from the check. Gave the puck to Trottier. Now to Bossy. Bossy parks just inside the line. Got to Trottier, and his backhander went off Bloom's stick. This is Casper coming out for the Bruins. Casper fires one at center ice off the right skate of Smith, picked up by Clark Gillies. Now to Boudelier, across to Dwayne Sutter. Goring and Gillies move into center ice. Kluzak breaks up the play at the Boston line. And Gillis for the Bruins takes a hit from Dwayne Sutter as he dumped it in. Boudelier back. Up to the right side. This is Sutter to Gillies. Had trouble handling the puck at the Boston line. It's loose and picked up by Bruce Crowder. McTavish trailing the play. Crowder in off left wing. Left it for McTavish. He shot it off the left arm of Smith. Art Gillies over in the corner. Gets bumped by Gillis. Caught that, and McTavish moves in as well, and there's no further play. A break in the action. The score tied. Islanders 1. The Boston Bruins 1.
Nissan technology versus the bottom line. The challenge, create room for 5. Power for passing. Outstanding mileage. The solution, Sentra. A major value from Nissan at a sticker price of just $51.99. The Nissan Sentra.
Come alive, come and drive. Major motion from Nissan.
At your Datsun dealer.
There's another look at the play. McTavish coming in to pick up the puck after Crowder had carried it in. Shot it off the arm of Smith. Throws it to the corner to the left, and that's where the faceoff takes place. Puck went back to the right point. Bork's shot was deflected. Ryan Trottier feeds it to the right wing. That's Wayne Sutter for the Islanders. Sutter's long shot wide of Keene. It's up the wing, recovered by Bork. Wayne Sutter knocks it away from him. Now Bork fires it off the board. He ruled that Langevin could have played it. And the Islanders back quickly. Langevin and Johnson on defense. Johnson slaps it around to left wing, picked up by Clark Gilly. Lost the handle on it at center ice. Langevin over, can't knock it away from Bruce Crowder into McTavish. McTavish chased to the corner by Goring. McTavish twisting and turning. Trying to get away from the check center. There's Crowder, and he fired it off the arm of Smith. Crowder all alone in front. Smith got the catching glove up to block it. Now Gillis with a backhander into the skates of Johnson, and the puck came loose for Clark Gilly. To Butch Goring, who crosses the line. Dumps it in around the boards. Keene cuts it off back of the net. Played it high up the right wing for Bruce Crowder. Bruins move up 3-on-3. Bruce Crowder over the line. Gillis heads for the net. The pass was there, but Johnson knocked him off his pins, and Johnson will go off for holding. Another Boston power play coming up. We'll take a break. The score is tied 1-1 at the Boston Garden.
This was New York's first bank, the Bank of New York. Today, we're one of the country's most dynamic banks, a major processor of government securities and mutual funds, a leading lender to such industries as communications, construction, and utilities. Yet we've never outgrown our commitment to personal service. Only one New York bank has endured to celebrate a bicentennial, the Bank of New York, looking ahead for 200 years.
Let's go back just a moment ago when Bruce Crowder had a great opportunity. Smith raises the arm, but it came off the post. It got by him and hit the post. Now here's where Thomas Johnson took his man down, spun him around. The holding call on Johnson as he took Gillis down will give the Bruins their fourth power play chance of this game. Boston coming in tonight with a sixth best power play in the league. Potvin has just cleared at the length of the ice. The only Bruins goal came when Pearson was sitting out a holding penalty back in the first period. So 1-1 tie as O'Connell comes down left wing. Slaps it around the board. Smith cuts it off. Potvin being chased by Keith Crowder as he came out and cleared it into the center ice zone. O'Connell. Billy Carroll into forecheck. O'Connell up the right side. Peterson across to Middleton on left wing. He's into the Islanders zone. Puts on the brakes. Waits for some help to arrive. The pass to Peterson. He was too well covered. It's picked up by Keith Crowder. Crowder takes a look to the right point. O'Connell to Kluzak. Into Peterson. Turns in front. The pass went over the stick of Middleton, and Bourne slaps it off the boards and into center ice. 1 minute, 6 seconds remaining. Peterson starting out for Boston is checked. Goring got the puck to Brent Sutter. Sutter having trouble getting it to the stick. It's turned around. Peterson breaks out of his own zone, comes to the Islander line and dumps it in. There's Donnelly over in the right wing. Slapped it into the corner. Langevin back for the Islanders. O'Reilly unable to knock it away from him. Brent Sutter clears it around the boards. It's picked up by Peterson. Centers. O'Connell faked it, let it go, and it hit Brent Sutter. Rebounded to center ice. 33 seconds left in the Boston power play. O'Connell across the board, moves down the right wing into the Islanders zone, bumped on the boards, got away from Langevin, drew out straight through, and Smith cuts it off. It's cleared out of there. 20 seconds left in Johnson's penalty. Tom Fergus starts out for Boston. Carroll and Bourne move up. Fergus over the line, dropped it for Nil into the corner to Fergus. Fergus goes back to the net. Smith came out, knocked it off his stick. O'Reilly trying to center it from back of the goal. Now to Fergus. Fergus works his way into the corner, comes off the boards. Over to Bork, teams at 6 aside. Bork shot, he scored! Bork, just as they got back to even strength, Ray Bork puts the Bruins on top. It is not a power play goal. Let's look at it again as the Bruins controlling the puck. On it over to the point. This is the left point. Watch the players in front of the net. It may have been tipped by O'Reilly. But Bork got the shot away, and then it goes in off the arm of Bill Smith. Another look at it. The pass across to Bork at the left point. O'Reilly reaching out. It appeared to drop at that point. The Bruins take the lead. The goal will be at the 8:33 mark. Terry O'Reilly does get the goal, his 13th of the season. O'Reilly deflecting the shot by Bork. Back into the Boston zone. Gilbert piled up in the corner. A little shoving going on. The puck had been frozen. Gilbert draws the attention of several of the Bruins. Jim Dill comes in. He hadn't been involved originally. It had started out with a couple of other people. Now Kluzak and Trottier exchanging words. Bork and Fergus getting the assist on O'Reilly's 13th goal of the year. At 8:33, making it 2-1 Boston Bruins. Let's take another look at it. O'Reilly, facing the shot, is back to Bill Smith, just reaches out. And the puck does indeed drop. It comes off the shaft of the stick and below the glove of Bill Smith. After Trottier had opened up the scoring at the 5-second mark of the first period, O'Connell's power play goal, and now O'Reilly put the Bruins on top 2-1. The Bruins have now scored a goal in 276 consecutive home games. A long time without being shut out on home ice. Brent Sutter has cleared the puck around the boards. Bork picks it up. Lost it to Tonelli, and he takes a hit from Crowder. Boudelier slaps it into the corner. Tonelli will pick it up, but the whistle is sounded. There's going to be a penalty on the play to Keith Crowder. Referee Brian Lewis calling an elbowing penalty. So an Islander power play coming up in just a moment. You're watching the Islanders and the Bruins on WOR.
The 1984 Olympics. These could be your tickets to the Summer Games. Enter the Budweiser and Bud Light Olympic Sweepstakes. 5 grand prize winners. Each receive an all-expense-paid trip for 2 to the Olympics, plus over 5,000 other prizes. Tickets and details in TV Guide, Sports Illustrated, Sport Magazine, or displays of participating Budweiser and Bud Light retailers. Grab a 6-pack and write down the winning numbers. You could win a trip to the '84 Olympics.
Penalty call coming to Keith Crowder, number 18, familiar Boston Bruin number, worn by the man who sits to my left for many seasons. Time of the penalty at 9:14. And Dick McDonald, Ed Westfall with laryngitis is at the game. Johnson has slapped the puck into the Bruins zone. Greg Gilbert poked it back to the net. Trottier around the boards. Here's Johnson at the right point. Into the corner off Trottier's stick. It was cleared by Keane. Trottier works it back to the net. Kluzak trying to clear it. It went to Middleton. Now to Peterson. These two play the power play and the penalty killing for Boston. Gary Chevers has said that he keeps Middleton out on the ice until he turns blue, and then he lets him come on. Trottier, a long shot. Glove save by Keane. Dropped it, played it off the glass. It got away from Johnson at the blue line. Back to Krushelnyski, ahead to Middleton. Kept it onside to Krushelnyski to Middleton. He scores! A short-handed goal for the Boston Bruins. The ninth short-handed goal of the year against the Islanders. That's Middleton's 4th short-handed goal. Personally, watch the play he makes. Krushelnyski gives it to Middleton. He takes it just in over the line. Instead of cutting in toward the net, he drops it back and cuts to the right. Krushelnyski gets it right back to Middleton off his stick between the legs. And Bill Smith, a pretty play for Boston. And Middleton, with his 46th goal of the year, has made it 3-1. Another look at it. Krushelnyski to Middleton. Short-handed goal. It comes at 10:08. Still a minute and 4 seconds remaining in the penalty time against Keith Crowder. Talk about a heads-up play. Middleton to make it all happen, dropping it back to Krushelnyski. The Islanders with the work cut out for them now. Pearson dumps it into the Boston zone. Charging it after it is Tonelli. To Kern into the corner. Kern able to kick the puck loose for Nil, and he has dumped it down the ice. 35 seconds left in Keith Crowder's penalty. Boudelier moves into the center ice zone. Got it around the boards. Tonelli knocked it down. Couldn't get a stick on it again. Here's Boudelier into Tonelli. Tonelli, who will celebrate his 27th birthday tomorrow. To Brent Sutter. Out in front, Flatley was there. Couldn't pull the trigger as Krushelnyski had a piece of him. At Flatley out of the corner. Comes in deep. Gave it to Brent Sutter. Now to Tonelli. To Brent Sutter. They can't find anybody open in front of the net. Tonelli with the puck. Back to the point. Pearson lets it go. Knocked down by Keens. A battle for it, and Dill cleared it to the corner. Keens at 6 aside again. Dill down the right wing. Over the Islander line. Goes in deep. His pass hit the skates of Boudelier and went right to John Tonelli. Tonelli gets to the Boston line. Moves in. Lost the handle on the puck. And as he picks it up again, offside is called. He had both Boudelier and Carroll in ahead of the play with him. 8 minutes and 26 seconds remaining. But the Boston Bruins turn a penalty-killing situation into a 2-goal lead. Here's Pearson, shot from just inside the blue line. Keens made the save. Then a second save as Brent Sutter got a backhand whack at it. Nil cleared it to the corner, and the Bruins were out of trouble. There's the initial save by Keens, and Brent Sutter poking at it. Tonelli there as well, but nothing doing for the New York Islanders. Bruins have cleared the puck. Johnson to Nystrom off his stick. Knocked it away from McTavish. Johnson picks it up. Into the corner to Langevin. To Bob Bourne. Now to Billy Carroll and to Nystrom on right wing. Nystrom centered one in front. Carroll was too well covered. Bourne poking at it. Bruce Crowder steps in front of him. McTavish got it out to center ice for Gillis. From the line, a shot blocked by Smith. Langevin up the left wing, off Bourne's stick. Bourne battling O'Connell as they move along the board. They managed to get it outside the Islander territory. Then Frozen right at the Boston bench, and both teams take a look at the clock. The Bruins are going to make some player changes as you see O'Connell going off. Jerry Cheevers, the Boston coach, setting out Fergus, Donnelly, and Keith Crowder, and now Al Arbor decides he'll make a change. Clark Gillies coming out with Butch Goring and Dwayne Sutter. Cheevers, pretty good chance to be coach of the year in the National Hockey League if the selecting committee doesn't take a good long look at Brian Murray of the Washington Capitals. Certainly he'd have to be odds-on favorite right now, I would think. All my colleagues, including Ed Westfall, members of the NHL Broadcasters Association, do the voting on that. Langevin with the puck back in the net, up to Goring. Goring into the center ice zone. Shot it wide of Keens. Gillies goes to the corner for it. Played it deeper to the corner. Goring picks it up back in the net. Out in front to Langevin. Langevin shot was blocked by Bloom, and Donnelly springs loose. One man back. Keith Crowder moves up, and Johnson broke up the pass. Sutter at Goring, who comes over the line. Goring on this right side gets turned around by Kluzak, and the puck is taken by Bork. Bork took a hit from Dwayne Sutter. Goring went after it. Couldn't get a stick on it. Fergus runs into the check from Gilbert. And now Keith Crowder dumps it to center ice. Little less than 7 minutes to play in the second period. Potvin pass stolen by Bork. Comes over the line with a drive. Stick save by Smith as Bork really drilled one. Gilbert across to Dwayne Sutter on right wing. Sutter turning, taken off the play by Jim Nill. Morrow's pass is intercepted by Casper. Backhanded one in front. It got away from both O'Reilly and Morrow. Here's Nill. Hill rounds the net. Goring chases them to the board. O'Reilly gets tied up with Potvin, and Morrow picks up the puck. Eddie Morrow plays it off Gilbert's stick, and went off O'Connell as well, and the Bruins have to go back in a hurry. O'Connell up the right wing, away from Casper. Potvin could have played it, they ruled. Icing waved off as Potvin went back. Gave it to Morrow, now to Pat Flatley. Flatley clears it across to the right side. O'Connell takes control there. O'Connell across the line. Into the corner for Casper. Casper checked by Brent Sutter. Smith knocks the puck loose. It comes to the side of the net. Picked up by Potvin. Fires it off the board. They go right to Keene, so play continues. Curran back for Boston. Around to the right wing. Krushelnyski waited for it at center. Now Middleton, who has just stepped out on the ice, dumps it in right to Bill Smith. Smith fires it up the right side. Center ice. Bork is back. Bork playing it back and forth. Curran down to center ice and into the Islanders' zone. That's Bork leading the rush. Centered one in front. Krushelnyski backed in over top of Smith and ends up in the net. John Tonelli picks up the puck over on left wing. Tonelli knocks it out into the center ice zone. Coming back for it is Bork. Dumps it inside the Islanders' zone. Peterson poked it away from Langevin. Smith clears it to the corner for Flatley. Langevin touched it ahead. Trottier sprung it loose. Sends Tonelli over the line. Tonelli to Trottier. Moving in on goal, and he ran into Blum. Trottier comes out of the corner with it. Can't make the centering play. Recovers it right at the Boston line and shot it to the corner. Tonelli picks it up. Tonelli trying to one-hand it to Trottier. He's taken off the play by Peterson. Bossy moved in, and the puck is deflected high to the corner for Trottier out in front. Bossy shoots, he scores! Bossy deep in the slot. Trottier puts it right on his stick. Bossy gets his 46th of the year. And it's a 3-2 score. Boston on top. Let's take another look at it. Watch the front of the Boston net as Trottier backs into the corner. There's Bossy. Whoops. Better not leave him all alone there. John Blum, the defenseman, failed to pick up Bossy. And the sniper, who had gone 4 games without a goal, gets one right there. Number 46. It comes at 15:25. Bossy from Trottier. I believe that'll be the only assist awarded on the goal. Bossy from Trottier is the way it stands at 15:25. Oh, it's 3-2. The Islanders start in their own territory. Dwayne Sutter over to Paul Boudelier. Gets in around Keith Crowder, then was knocked down, and O'Connell picks up the puck. Failed to clear it out. Boudelier, who had poked it right back to O'Connell, and now the Boston defenseman forces the Islanders to hustle back. Pearson around to Clark Gillies. Gillies up the left side to Goring. Circles in front of the net. Puts Goring over center ice. Draws a crowd as he pushes it into the Boston zone. Keane dumped it to the corner. Keith Crowder lost it to Goring. To Boudelier, and a shot from the flank was blocked by O'Connell. Cleared but picked up by Goring on left wing. Into Dwayne Sutter. Sutter back to Goring, and he had cut in front of the net. The pass went the other way, and O'Connell has dumped it down the ice. This will result in a whistle for icing as Pearson goes back to touch up. We'll take a break in the action. The score now, Boston Bruins 3, New York Islanders 2.
Nissan explodes interest rates on trucks. Now get low 8.8 annual percentage rate on any new Nissan truck. 8.8%. You can save up to $600 on Nissan's lowest sticker price truck, up to $1,200 depending on the model and options. 8.8% is the lowest factory-sponsored truck financing around, but it won't be around long. 8.8%. Major savings on major motion. From Nissan, only at your Datsun dealer.
A lot of players picking up their 46th goals of the season tonight. Middleton for the Bruins, Bossy for the Islanders, LaRouche for the Rangers with his 46th of the year. Rangers are leading the Devils 4-1. Philadelphia is 6-2. Flyers leading Pittsburgh. Here the Islanders are down by a goal to the Boston Bruins. Bork comes in over the line, checked by Potvin. Puck came right out in front, and Peterson shot it high. Carroll waits back in the Islander net. Carroll in the lineup as Pat LaFontaine is up with a cold. 7 Islanders scratched from the lineup. There are that many players over the limit. Bruins unable to get across the line. Now Bork elects to shoot one in off the glass and up into the seats. 3 minutes and 5 seconds left in period 2. A break in the action. The Bruins lead the Islanders 3-2.
What does it take to excel? It takes speed, reliability, economy. It takes express mail next day service from the post office. We'll deliver your urgent packages overnight. And our 2-pound pack is just $9.35, about half what most others charge. So next time, use the service that delivers over 95,000 packages on time every day. Express mail service. We deliver excellence for less.
That's Jerry Cheevers, 43-year-old coach of the Bruins. Back of their bench, he'll be guesting with Ed Westfall in our second intermission tonight. Maybe a tip on a horse in a race tomorrow somewhere. Cheesy is affectionately known. What a stable of thoroughbreds. Top end for the Islanders. Cross to the right side. Billy Carroll took a hit as he dumped the puck into the Boston zone, but offside on the play. I want to remind you again about the night with the Islanders coming up. Evening with all proceeds to benefit the St. John's University hockey team. It'll be held at the Waterfront Crab House on Borden Avenue in Long Island City, March 29th, a week from tonight. 729-4862 is the number to call for tickets. Let's take a look at this hit on Billy Carroll. Bang. Big Gord Kluzak moving up for the Bruins. Now as play gets underway, O'Connell takes it back to the Boston net. Across to Kluzak. Finelli runs him into the boards. Kluzak managed to get the puck into the Islanders' zone. Bruce Crowder got spun around. Langevin in a collision, and now Flatley and McTavish go to the corner. Gillis is checked. O'Connell shot one off the blocking glove of Smith, and here's Brent Sutter over on right wing. A long pass to Finelli, but across two lines and offside. 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in period number 2. Let's take a look at the play as they moved in on Bill Smith. O'Connell right there in off the point. The puck cleared immediately. O'Connell had 3 shots on goal in the first period. Had the only Boston goal on Bill Smith in the first 20 minutes. O'Connell, a very important cog on this Boston team. He's also the player rep, by the way. Native of the Chicago area. Came over here in a deal that sent Al Secord to the Blackhawks. Secord has not played this year because of a pulled muscle. Still some thought that he may never play again, which would be a shame. Bork has fed it to Plum. Shot it high. Off the glass at the Boston bench and out onto the playing surface again. Sunday night at 7, the Islanders and the Buffalo Sabres here on WOR. Billy Smith comes into tonight's game with a road record on the season of 5 wins, 7 losses, and 1 tie. He's won his 20th game of the year for 6 seasons now. As you take a look at the time remaining here in period number 2. Brent Sutter lining up against Fergus for this draw. Fergus pulled it back in over the line for Plum to Bork. Bork unable to hit Donnelly on the left wing. Now Brent Sutter gets across the Boston line. Shot it off Bork. Plum goes to the corner. Flatley backed into him. Got the puck loose for Brent Sutter. In front to Finelli. Got turned around and then shot it wide. Good chance for the Islanders, but they couldn't make it work. And the Bruins have dumped it down the ice. Johnson touches up. We got an icing call. Well, the NC2A playoffs underway tonight. First of the weekend, Minnesota Duluth playing North Dakota. We can look again at the opportunity. Brent Sutter over to Tonelli. Couldn't pull the trigger. It's turned around by the time he got the shot away. He's off balance, and it went to the right of Doug Keens. The opening round, NCAA Division I hockey finals. Minnesota Duluth against North Dakota, and Bowling Green and Michigan State tomorrow night. Bowling Green, well, any of those 4 schools have provided a lot of players for the National Hockey League in recent years. Off that at the blue line, is shot off a skate and right to Keens. A hold. The Islanders winning the face-off in the Boston end of the ice. Let's take another look at it. Trache on the draw. Back to Potvin, and there's the shot. There's where it went off the skate and flip-flopped right to Doug Keens. Peterson and Trache once more. The draw this time to Gilbert. Into the corner. Trache will pick it up back in the net, trying to get away from Peterson. Makes a hit. Goes down. The puck loose. Bossy chasing it. Bork looking at him. And Middleton takes over on right wing. Here's it across to Peterson. Morrow steps into him. Laid the puck to the open wing. O'Connell came over. Knocked it loose for Peterson, and the Islanders have to go back. Smith left it for Morrow. Up the boards for Denny Potvin. Potvin pulled it away from Peterson. Turns, gives it to Morrow. Out to Gilbert. Gilbert just did get it across the line. It's picked up by Bork, and he lofts it to Middleton on the right side. 1 minute remaining, period 2. The Bruins have outscored the Islanders 2-1 in this period. And he Potvin back, gives the puck to Morrow. Out of Trottier. Got it into the Boston zone. Keanes loaded up. There's Gilbert over on left wing. A shot into the catching glove of Doug Keanes, and he'll freeze it for a face-off. They've just changed the scoring on the second Boston goal, I'm told. Ray Bork is now credited with the goal instead of O'Reilly. Well, our replay, I thought, was very clear in the deflection off O'Reilly's stick. That would make the goal Bork's 29th of the year rather than O'Reilly's 13th. We still have 41 seconds remaining in the second period. Al Arbor has sent Butch Goring out to take the face-off. Keith Fergus will take the draw for the Bruins. Fergus picks it up over on the right side. Say Keith Fergus, it's Tom Fergus. Now to O'Connell, to O'Reilly. O'Reilly on the left side to Kluzak, and he dumped one and ended up wide of the net. Comes right back to Kluzak. In along the boards, Krushelnyski is checked. Wayne Sutter feeds it to Clark Gillies. From center ice, his drive dropped right into the catching glove. Wayne Sutter in forechecking, forced Kluzak off the puck. Here's Gillies with it to the point to Johnson, and got away from him. Gillies hustles back. Steps in front of Casper. Failed to clear it out. O'Reilly moves in. Over to O'Connell, and he shot it right into the chest protector of Bill Smith. 2 seconds left. They set up O'Connell neatly, and now O'Reilly exchanging some words. Langevin and Wayne Sutter there on behalf of the Islanders. Let's take another look as they get the puck to that man, number 20. This is O'Reilly coming in on left wing. Instead of shooting as Langevin went down, he fed it across to O'Connell, who was the trailer. Bill Smith jumps up, makes the save. O'Reilly brushes into Smith. That was the reason for all the conversation following the whistle. The face-off will come outside the New York Islander blue line. 2 seconds left in the period. A lot of Islander fans on hand at the game tonight. Youngsters from Baldwin and Belmore dropped by. Wanted to be remembered to all the folks on Long Island, students here in the Boston area. Kluzak shooting it in as the horn sounds, ending the second period. But the Boston Bruins get 2. The Islanders get 1 in the period. So after 40 minutes here at the Boston Garden, the Bruins have themselves a 1-goal lead. Our score is the Bruins 3, the Islanders 2. We'll be back with a recap following these messages.
For making business travel a pleasure and providing a bonus program that lets me credit mileage from other airlines to my Eastern account and therefore earn free travel to London, Rome, South America, and other exciting places, it gives me us great pleasure to present these wings to Eastern Airlines. You really earn them.
At Eastern, we earn our wings every day.
Of the best-selling motor oils today, 14 now save gas. But only one saves gas. Offers cold weather starting down to 35 degrees below zero. And the best engine protection under extreme heat. In fact, the best engine protection you can give your car. Only one. Mobil One.
It's really embarrassing when you're misled by some tricky advertising, and you stand in the middle of the showroom like an idiot, and the salesman's going,
"Yeah, well, that price is for a totally stripped car."
I mean, if you're going to give me the price of a car, give me the price of a real car.
When your Buick dealer gives you a price, believe it.
I mean, don't insult my intelligence.
Canon is proud to be the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics. Like gold medalist Adrian Dantley, it takes a special kind to perform at this level. Here, the Canon AE1 program performs. With its special shutter priority system, so its first priority is to stop motion. And it's as easy for me to shoot as a basketball. Cannon's AE1 program. So advanced, yet simple.
Now, at the end of 2 periods of play at the Boston Garden, you see the score. The Bruins leading the New York Islanders 3-2. It was all even 1-1 at the end of the first period. Here's the way the shots on goal went. In the second period, the Bruins had 11. The Islanders had 7. So the totals are Boston 21, the Islanders 14. The scoring summary, a change in the second Boston goal of the game. It is credited now to Ray Bork. That'll be his 29th goal of the year. Assists go to O'Reilly and Fergus. At 8:33, Bork shot it from just inside the point on the left side. Shortly after Johnson had finished serving a holding penalty, and the Bruins took the 2-1 lead. Then at 10:08, a shorthanded goal with Keith Crowder sitting out an elbowing penalty. Rick Middleton and Mike Krushelnicki moved it back and forth, with Middleton putting it between the pads of Smith. For Middleton, his 46th goal of the year. It came at 10:08. Then at 15:25, Mike Bossy, left all alone in the deep slot, gets his 46th of the year. Ryan Trottier, the only assist, and the Islanders were back into the hockey game. And that's it at the end of 2 periods. The Bruins leading the Islanders 3-2. I'm Jakes McDonald here at the Boston Garden. Ed Westfall will be joining us in just a moment with a visit from Jerry Cheevers, the Bruin coach. Another well-played period. The skating excellent on the part of the Bruins and the Islanders. Boston with a territorial edge in the period. They moved the puck around very well. Bill Smith came up with a couple of key saves. Again, got some help from a post. But the Bruins with that 3-1 lead. They've been tough at home. But as I said back at the end of the first period, they've had difficulty putting 60 minutes together in recent games. New Jersey came in here and beat them 5-3 last Saturday. They played one good period, according to the Bruins people, and then didn't play very well for another 40 minutes against the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden on Tuesday night. So this game certainly up for grabs here tonight as the Islanders and the Bruins get ready for the playoffs. Bruins outscoring them 2-1 in that period. Only the Edmonton Oilers and the Buffalo Sabres have better records in the overall standings. Edmonton first, Buffalo second, and it's the Islanders in third place and the Boston Bruins in fourth when you narrow it down to that. There's, again, of course, still the possibility of the Islanders and the Bruins meeting in the playoffs again, probably late April, early May for the conference championship. But with 20 minutes to play here at the Boston Garden, it's the Bruins 3, the Islanders 2. Our intermission will continue from the Boston Garden right after these messages.
This Bud's for everyone who scrapes it, sprays it, and lays it on smooth. Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. For all you do. This Bud's for you.
What does it take to excel? It takes speed, reliability, economy. It takes express mail next day service from the post office. We'll deliver your urgent packages overnight. And our 2-pound pack is just $9.35, about half what most others charge. So next time, use the service that delivers over 95,000 packages on time every day. Express mail service. We deliver excellence for less.
Can't you put your meeting off?
Really, I can't. You know.
Every business day, thousands of people travel from New York to Washington. A lot of them go with a carrier who offers 10 convenient times to take off, who has an on-time record of nearly 90%, and who gives them a wider seating coach than most airlines. Of course, this carrier doesn't fly through the air to Washington. It flies along the ground. Metroliner service.
There's a new force in business communication, driven by the combined energies of New Jersey Bell, Bell of Pennsylvania, and Diamond State Telephone of Delaware, and the C&P companies of Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C. Introducing Bell Atlantic, working with customers in business and government to make business communications work better. Introducing Bell Atlantic. One call, one source, one company.
For 7 seasons, Ed Westfall played in front of Jerry Cheevers, the team, the Bruins, winning 2 Stanley Cups. Tonight, the former teammates reminisce.
Here, Jakes. This doesn't sound very good, but I'm going to do my best. It's probably an hour now before the games to start, Jerry, and as coach of the Boston Bruins, what kind of a hockey game would you be looking for between your team and the Islanders?
Well, I think, especially at this point of the season, being so late in the season and trying to get ready for the playoffs, hopefully it's a good defensive effort from our team at least, not so good from them. But when the two teams meet, we go back a long way, and I think regardless what the situation each team is in at this particular point of the year, it's a hard hockey game. And I think the team that skates the best and forechecks the best will probably end up winning it.
Jerry, your team just come off a game with the Philadelphia Flyers, and there was a lot of talk about some of the things that happened in the hockey game. You see a different kind of hockey now coming back into Philly, or is that just for a one-game thing?
I think it's only a one-game thing. I just don't think a team can survive that way. We were totally unprepared for that type of a game, and we played 70-odd games this year before going into there, and we didn't have any games like that. And we were totally unprepared, and I'll give them credit. That was their game plan at work. But I just can't see that being a prolonged thing. I don't think teams can survive that way. They should be in the penalty box for a third of the game when they play that way, and I don't think that's good for any team.
It was said, Jerry, that it was near the end of the game that they started to pull some of the things with putting out some of what we call heavyweights, or we used to call them goons. Do you still call them goons?
Well, that's I don't know, like everyone has different opinions of that, too. But, you know, maybe the rivalry once again between the Flyers and the Bruins, it goes back a long way, and the earlier confrontations might have been legit. But I know when they send out Brown and Cochran in the last 30 seconds with a 3-goal lead, I know they're not sending them out there to protect the 3-goal lead, but I just didn't understand that, and I'm glad that our guys showed up and maybe got the edge on them in that.
Jerry, there's some other talk now about the playoffs coming up in the format, and the format is not too pleasing to a lot of people. I'd like to get Jerry Cheever's thoughts on the playoff format and the system that they're using.
Well, the first thing I think is that the team that finishes first in their respective divisions, I think they should be rewarded more than just money. And the money's not much anyway, but I think they should get a bye somehow in the playoffs, or at least have some more home games than their opposition in the first round, or whatever the way you can work it out. I just believe that, you know, to make the season more rewarding, that has to be it. I'm not so sure there should be 16 teams in the playoffs, but then again, I guess there's a lot more home games when you have 16 teams, and that's where the old the income comes in. But my only concern is I think the team that finishes first in their division should be rewarded with some sort of a bye or some sort of a home ice advantage in the playoffs.
Are you surprised at all with Buffalo, the way Buffalo's had the season? They seem to have been pretty steady all season long.
They certainly have been pretty steady, and they've been getting good goaltending all season, which is certainly a key. But we beat them out in the 7-game series in the sudden death of the 7th game last year, and that means they were very close to us. And I said after that particular series that they'll be in the top 4 teams in the league, and unfortunately they're proving me right. But they've been injury-free all year. They've only had minor injuries. They haven't lost players for extended times, key players. And I'm not giving any excuses why we're not near them, but they've had a great year.
One of the teams that you have to look at that there's a good opportunity to play, or there's going to be a good chance that you'll play them, is the Quebec Nordiques. They've had a different face this year, haven't they, than other years?
Yes, they have. They put a defensive philosophy into their game, and they're 4th in goals against, which if you ask anyone that, they're not going to give you that answer. But they're 4th. They might be 5th now, I'm not sure, but they're 4th or 5th. And with their ability to score goals, that's going to bring them a long way. And I'm scared to death of the Quebec Nordiques. I'm scared to death of anyone right now, but I'm scared of Quebec Nordiques. They got great firepower, as good as any team in the league. And when they put their mind to playing defense and can end up 4th overall or 5th overall, you know they're a good team.
You have to be happy, though, with the way your team's performed all season long. They've also been steady.
Well, I'm not so sure of that, Ed. We've accumulated a lot of points, and I just don't think we've been consistent as we could have been, or as steady as we could have been. And, you know, there's a lot of reasons for it, and certainly one is injuries. We've just never been able to put a streak together because a key player has gone out with an injury to have that consistency. But somehow we try hard, and we're grinding it out, and we're trying to remain at the top and get our act into gear for the playoffs.
Well, I know for a fact everybody's afraid of your team. Well, good luck, and we'll look forward to the playoffs when they get here.
I hope we can both meet in the semifinals. It's a lot of fun playing the Islanders.
I hope so, too. Now, let's go back up to you, Jigs.
All right, Eddie. Tonight's guest, Jerry Cheevers, receives the original members-only strap-collared jacket. It's today's most exciting, most wanted jacket, members only. When you put it on, something happens. Available at fine stores everywhere. After 2 periods here at the Boston Garden, the Bruins are leading the New York Islanders 3-2. We'll be back for the start of the 3rd period right after these messages.
For making business travel a pleasure and providing a bonus program that lets me credit mileage from other airlines to my Eastern account and therefore earn free travel to London, Rome, South America, and other exciting places. It gives me great pleasure to present these wings to Eastern Airlines. You really earned them.
At Eastern, we earn our wings every day.
When you're taking a trip for business or pleasure, it's nice to know the best places to stay and eat along the way. The Mobile Travel Guide comes in 7 regional editions. It quality rates hotels, motels, and restaurants from 1 to 5 stars. You get easy-to-follow maps and coupons worth up to 50% off on attractions and places to stay. The Mobile Travel Guide. It'll make your trip 5-star all the way.
When your Buick dealer gives you a price, believe it. The new front-wheel drive Buick Skyhawk, equipped the way a Buick ought to be, is only $8807. And that price includes all these extras. Power steering, power brakes, automatic transmission, air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, even front and rear carpet savers. We've made sure the $8807 includes a lot of Buick comfort and convenience as well as quality. If you price a Buick, you'll buy a Buick.
The Emmy winners, Scotch Video Cassettes, for having pioneered and perfected videotape.
Watching your favorites day after day, keeping the wonder play after play, knowing the color and brightness will stay.
Only from Scotch, our cobalt encapsulated oxide for world-class clarity.
The world watches Scotch.
Buy Scotch Video Cassettes and earn free dinners. Details at dealers.
Back at the Boston Garden as the Islanders return to the ice. A reminder that reservations are now being taken. Well, let's first of all go to the replay monitor. This is the goal by Middleton. Watch the play he makes just inside the blue line. Drew the defenseman, dropped it back. Krushelnyski to Middleton, who was wide open to the left side of Bill Smith. Smith went down. He slipped it between his legs. Now the Islanders get back into the hockey game. Ryan Trottier spotting Bossy all alone in front of Doug Keane. Mike Bossy with his 46th goal of the year. He had been snake-bitten over the past 4 games. There's number 46. That goal came at the 15:25 mark, and you see the smile on Mike Bossy's face. Pretty pass from Trottier to set him up in the slot. Now the reminder about reservations being taken for the 1984 New York Islander Nassau County Summer Hockey School. School begins July 9th, runs through September 1st. 1- and 2-week sessions available to boys and girls ages 7 to 18. More information and a brochure on what will be going on with this year's summer hockey school, you can call right now, Candiac Park. Training camp site, practice rink as well for the New York Islanders. Area code 516-935-3501. Back with you on WOR Sunday night at 7 o'clock. The Islanders and the Buffalo Sabres live from Memorial Auditorium. Then on Saturday, March 31st, the Islanders and the Washington Capitals at 7:30. A classic matchup that'll be just before the playoffs begin. And the final game of the regular season, we'll see the Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins on WOR. Sunday, April 1st, also at 7:30. More preseason baseball coming up. The Mets and the Pirates. Saturday the 31st on WOR. Mets beat the Yankees yesterday in a game that was carried here from sunny Florida. So we get set for the third period. The Islanders to the right, the Bruins to the left. The Islanders have had 2 power play chances. The Bruins have had 4. Boston successful once. The Islanders had their power play broken up in the second period. The Bruins, a record of 36 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties when they go to the third period leading the hockey game. And the Islanders, who have not won in this building since November of 1981, have moved the puck in deep. O'Reilly picks it up in the right wing corner. Moved it ahead for Casper off his stick over to Bork. Ray Bork dumps it in. Wide of Smith. Lonsman picks it up on left wing. Failed to clear it out and went off Gilbert and up into the seats. Several other games around the league. We'll keep you posted as scores become available on those. Our last report had the Rangers leading the Devils 4-1. Philadelphia out in front of Pittsburgh by a score of 6-2, and Calgary playing at home later tonight. Flames are headed for the playoffs again this season. Will probably finish right behind the Edmonton Oilers, second place in their division. Here's Trottier against Casper on the draw. Got it back to Langevin, around the boards to Thomas Janssen. Now to Trottier. Trottier into the center ice area, checked by Bork. Held the puck, got it to Gilbert, who comes in on right wing. Greg Gilbert lets it fly, and it was just wide of the net. Trottier back to Langevin, his shot deflected. Trottier over to Gilbert, he shoots so, and he drilled it wide as Keens came out, was going down, and Gilbert missed the net. The puck got lodged in the mesh at the back of the goal, and the face-off will come outside the blue line. Greg Gilbert open on right wing. We're going to take another look at the play. Trottier moves in. Gilbert pulling off to the side of the net. Trottier one-handed it. There's the drive. Just missed. He had Keens going down. All kinds of things. Give him another chance. He may have held on to the puck a little longer. But a golden opportunity. 51 seconds into this third period. Brent Sutter at center ice. Tonelli is on the left wing. Flatley is on the right side. Morrow and Potvin on the point. Ursulniski taking the draw for Boston. Puck in Flatley skates. Now Tonelli gets it loose. He and O'Connell go to the boards. Tonelli to Flatley. Couldn't set up Brent Sutter in front of the net, and Peterson has cleared it to center. Kenny Morrow races back. Played it off Ursulniski's stick. It's loose for Flatley, and they're ruling that Brent Sutter had knocked it down with a high stick before Flatley touched it. So the result will be a face-off just inside the New York Islander blue line. Pat Flatley. He and Pat LaFontaine featured in the current edition of Sports Illustrated. Eddie Swift with quite a story of headline, I believe, these Pats on the back. Something of that nature anyway. The feature on the two Pats. Inside Sport has a feature on the Islanders and Rangers written by Pat Calabria. Sport magazine has a hockey feature. Must be getting around to playoff time, huh? Potvin carries the puck over the line with a drive. Keens a glove save. Potvin drilled that one off the left side. Now Brent Sutter keeps it in the Boston zone. Worked it around the boards. Donnelly went after it. He's checked by Morrow. The puck's knocked away from Kerr, and it recovers. Then Brent Sutter knocks him off the play. Keens fires it around to the right side. Tonelli takes the man. Flatley trying to pick up the puck. Got it back to Potvin. Potvin had it knocked away from him. The Bruins unable to recover. Here's Flatley to Brent Sutter. Now back to Morrow. To Potvin. To Morrow. Morrow takes a look. Gave it back to Potvin. Turns at the blue line. Fergus right on top of him. Now to Trottier, who backhands it into the Boston zone. Curran back. Got it to Donnelly on the left side. Gilbert moved over. Couldn't break up the play. Keith Crowder into the Islanders zone. Langevin turned him around. The puck went to Donnelly, who centered it off the stick of Johnson and up into the seats. 17:43 remaining in the third period. A break in the action. The Bruins lead the Islanders 3-2.
This buzz for everyone who's getting the 1984 Olympic Games ready for the world. To everyone who's working hard for America's Olympic efforts, this buzz for you.
Again, right up on top of the crease. Earlier, Greg Gilbert had a chance over on the right side. Missed the net. Oh, what a shot by Dill, and Smith got the stick hand up in front of it as the Bruins get control of the puck again. O'Reilly centers it. Hill tips it to the blue line. Kluzak moves in. Around the boards, intended for O'Reilly, but Langevin was back. Langevin and Johnson on defense. O'Reilly to Nil, and he can't get around Langevin. O'Reilly picks up the puck. To the point, that's Kluzak. Shot it wide of Smith, who clears it to the corner. O'Reilly on it quickly. Bumped by Trottier and knocked down. Bossy picks up the puck. Bossy over to Johnson. Johnson is across the line. The play to the left side for Bourne. Bob Bourne takes a hit from Bork, and the puck goes loose. Kluzak lost it in the corner. Here's Bourne. Bob Bourne draws the crowd. Will be content for the face-off in the Boston end of the ice. The Islanders trying to pick up the tempo here. The old adage in hockey, go out and win the period. Win the period here would put them into a tie, perhaps, or even a lead over the Bruins when the final buzzer sounded. Back in the Islander end, right from the draw, number 8, Jim Nill. Watch this shot. Smith diving across off the blocking glove. Nill was acquired from Vancouver for Peter McNabb. Jim Nill played on the Canadian Olympic team in 1980, by the way. Originally signed with St. Louis. Here's Middleton across the line. Trying to cut in around Morrow as backhander. Smith juggled and it's loose. Picked up by Goring, and now Potvin takes over. Drops it back on the boards. Goring across. Gillies over in the left wing. Unable to set up Wayne Sutter, and O'Connell shoots it back into the Islanders' end of the ice. Eddie Morrow to Potvin. Potvin plays it away from Middleton, off Gillies to Dwayne Sutter. Over center ice, Sutter, the pass to Gillies. Mark Gillies drops it back. There's Morrow, backhanding it to the corner. Dwayne Sutter put it back in the net for Gillies. For the point for Morrow. Eddie Morrow's shot went off the stick. Picked up by Dwayne Sutter. Taps it into the corner. Goring and O'Connell bump together. Butch Goring trying to come off the board. Centers. Morrow's backhanded it wide. Dwayne Sutter can't put it out in front. And it's cleared by Curran. No icing call as Potvin gets back in plenty of time. The Islanders change on the fly as Bourne and Carroll jump over the board. The pass ahead to Bourne on left wing. Into the Boston zone. Bourne backhanded it wide. Carroll goes in after it. Knocked his man down. The puck loose. Bobby Nystrom got it to Carroll. Into Bourne. Trying to put it out in front. Bourne broke up the pass. Around the boards it comes. Boudelier fanned on it at the blue line. Picked up by McTavish of Boston. Greg McTavish, twisting and turning, has shot it into the Islander end. Smith leaves it back in the net. We've played 4.5 minutes of this third period. Islanders third down inside the Boston zone. Gillis goes back. Nystrom into forecheck. Gillis got it to McTavish over on left wing. Now to Crowder. Bruce Crowder runs over top of Pearson at the Islander line. Smith out of the net, cleared it. Carroll and Boudelier there with McTavish and Gillis. The puck dug loose. Bruce Crowder unable to put it out in front. Billy Carroll riding herd on Crowder, and now Boudelier clears it for Nystrom. To Billy Carroll. Carroll at center ice, dumps it into the Boston zone. Deans misplayed it, but Bork was back to help out. Ray Bork to McTavish. Picked up by Bruce Crowder. He comes over the Islander line, ran into Longevin's check. This is Johnson down the left side. Stick handling over the Boston line. Johnson centers one, cut off and cleared by Bork. Fergus ahead now to McTavish. Works on Langevin, trying to cut inside the defense. It's chased to the corner, but held on to the puck. Centers one, Crowder too well covered. Kuzak a drive, Smith the save. Nystrom back for the Islanders. Around the boards for Tonelli. Couldn't get a stick on it. O'Connell shot. That's one off Tonelli. Centered it out in front, and then off the stick of Brent Sutter. Johnson took it back in the net. Moved it up left wing. Tonelli crunched by O'Connell's hit. O'Connell shot a stick hand save by Smith. Bruins applying pressure here. Pete Crowder back to the point. O'Connell hustles to keep it in play. Got it to Crowder. Out of his reach. It's loose in the corner, and Brent Sutter gives it to Tonelli. Hit again by O'Connell, but he strung it loose for Nystrom. Islanders, who had been hemmed in, can't get into the Boston zone. Keith Crowder is across the line. The pass to Fergus. Fergus chased to the corner. The puck went to Brent Sutter. Now to Langevin. Up the left wing. Blums comes over. He flicks off his stick down the ice. Tonelli is upended from behind. Play goes on. Here's Brent Sutter shooting it in off the pads of Keane. Blum covering up for the Bruins. 13:20 remaining in the third period as the Bruins force the Islanders to go back. No icing as Denny Potvin takes it back to the net. Out to Gilbert on this left side. Frank Gilbert into the center ice zone. The pass to Morrow. Shot it in. Gilbert chases in after it. Bork tying up Trottier. Casper moves in, and they'll freeze it for a face-off. We're enjoying a playoff preview. Now Blum and Gilbert get the sticks up a little. And referee Brian Lewis appears to have called some penalties. They're both going to go off. We have 12:58 left in the third period. The score, the Bruins 3, the Islanders 2.
Most of these car sell-a-thons are nothing but a bunch of hype. High pressure hype. I mean, how many cars they want to sell. how fast they want to sell it. How now, brown cow? You'd think they'd want to address the real matters at hand.
When your Buick dealer gives you a price, believe it.
I mean, tell me something that means something.
High sticking penalties handed out at 8:02 of this third period. Blum for Boston, Gilbert for the Islanders. The puck had been frozen on the boards. They just bumped together at the side of the net, but Brian Lewis, not wanting anything to break loose here, elected to send them both off. Through two periods, Boston had outshot the Islanders 21-14. Good skating, both teams. Top of their game here in the third period. Peterson and Trottier turned one another around from the faceoff. That's Bork being forced back to the Boston net. Gets turned around. Trottier hauled him down. The fans yelling about that. So is Keane for the Boston net. Luzak across the line. The pass to Peterson and hit Potvin. Trottier can't pick it up. Potvin does. Hustles into the center ice zone. Trottier with him on right wing. Takes the pass. Now to Bossy. Rifles one. Oh, what a stop by Keane. Bossy on target with that blast from just inside the blue line. Up on the left shoulder. We're going to get another look at it. He found the target here as he let it go right away. No hesitation at all. And Keane didn't give him a whole lot to shoot at as he was up on top of that goal crease and spread out. There's Bossy's shot. He had his 46th goal of the season back in the second period. Stays out there with Trottier as you look at Doug Keane. Shut out the Islanders here in January. Boston taking a little time before lining up as Bork talks it over. Fergus talking to Kluzak as well. Middleton is the other Boston player on the ice. Potvin and Morrow on defense with Trottier and Bossy, the Islander forwards. John D'Amico yelling at Fergus to move in for the draw. Trottier got it back to Morrow. Morrow plays it to the corner. Trottier and Kluzak go after it. Trottier fell, and Middleton clears it, but not out. There's Morrow to Bossy. Couldn't get around the defense. Potvin from the point. It was blocked, and Middleton has a breakaway. A rolling puck makes it lie down. He shoots, missed the net. Middleton centers, and that hit Potvin as he had Fergus coming in, trailing the play for the Bruins. Potvin to Trottier. Trottier across to Morrow. Morrow trying to get away from Fergus. Grabbed as he got the puck into the Boston zone. It'll be picked up by Bork. What a chance for Middleton. You only get so many chances a night. Middleton missed Bill Smith. Here's Kluzak coming in on left wing. He's bumped on the boards by Morrow. Gillies moves over. The puck frozen with 42 seconds left in the penalties to Blum and Gilbert. The puck was rolling, in fairness to Middleton, when he picked it up, but he did make it lie down. As you take a look at Ricky Middleton, let's go back and take a look. Shot was blocked. Middleton reaching out. The puck rolling up on edge ahead of him. Now watch what he does here. At the heel of the stick, makes it lie down, and then just missed the net. It seemed to jump up just as he shot it. This may show it a little better. There he makes it lie down, and it jumped up just as he shot it. Play gets underway with Goring feeding it off the skates of Gillies into the Boston zone. He and Curran go to the corner. Goring picked up the puck, laid it back to the point, but between Pearson and Boudelier. Gillies have been tied up in the Boston zone by the play of Curran. 15 seconds left in the penalties. Boudelier gave it to Gillies, to Pearson. Pearson over to Goring. Coach Goring checked on the boards. Pearson helped up. The pass across to Boudelier. Elected to shoot it in wide of Keane, who leaves it for Curran. Curran chased from back of the net, bumped into Gillies, got it to the left side. Into the Islanders zone. A long shot by Donnelly was blocked by Smith. Deanser at 6 aside. Just a little less than 11 minutes to play in this third period. The Islanders trail 3-2. Boston trying to put on pressure again, but O'Reilly's pass intercepted by Goring. Butch Goring over to Janssen. Out of Bourne at center ice. It went off his stick, hit Bork. Ray Bork has trouble picking it up. Now gets across the line. Owen stayed onside, and Langevin goes to the corner. a hit from Nil as he got it ahead to Bourne. Bob Bourne down the left side. Over the Boston line. Runs into Bork. Left the puck. Billy Carroll has ridden into the boards. It came out in front, but right to Nil. Jim Nil. Kruzak on left wing. Kruzak back to O'Reilly. O'Reilly shoots that one off Langevin. O'Reilly got the rebound, and Smith clears it at the side of the net and grabs it, forcing a face-off. We're midway through the final period, a break in the action. The Bruins are leading the Islanders 3-2.
Do you know how many of these motor oils would love to make this claim? Well, this one can. Mobil 1. Now, Mobil 1 and our other fine motor oils come in this easy-pour, resealable plastic container. Mobil Motor Oil. Now it's easier to use than ever.
Looking now at the New York Islander bench, Al Arbor, Jerry Cheevers behind the Bruins bench. They were teammates together in the American Hockey League at Rochester a few years back. Bruins up 3-2 as Potvin comes over center ice. Cuts to the right, had to wait outside the line as Bossy had been knocked down and slid into the Bruin end of the ice. Gilbert plays it in off O'Connell. O'Connell slaps it outside the line. Potvin has to chase it. Got it over to Morrow. Back to Denny Potvin. Up to Greg Gilbert. Gilbert shoots it into the far corner. Bossy in after it. Nil knocked it away from him. Here's Curran. Curran failed to clear it out. Morrow. Gilbert on right wing. To Bossy with an empty net. He couldn't handle the puck. Gilbert picks it up. It bounces away from him. Gilbert in the corner, tied up by Middleton. Gets it around to Bossy. Bossy from back to the net. Trying to set up Gilbert. Never did arrive, and Peterson has shot it off the boards into the Islanders' zone. Icing has been waved off. Another great opportunity for the Islanders. They fail to put it in. Potvin to Morrow. Morrow on the right side. Had his pass intercepted by Fergus. Crowder gets over the line. Unable to send Donnelly in on right wing. Donnelly plays it back of the goal. There's Fergus centering it out in front. Blum at the blue line. Had his pass blocked by Tonelli. Down the right side. Trottier moves up with him. Pass off Trottier's skates. Recovered by Donnelly. This Keith Crowder in his effort to send the Bruins into the Islanders' zone. Boudelier went back. That's the puck to Brent Sutter. Sutter carries it into center ice at the Boston line. Can't get around Bork. Fergus across to Keith Crowder on right wing. Tried to cut in around Boudelier. They go to the corner together, and Tonelli back for the puck is tied up. There'll be a face-off to the left of the Islander net. Now 8 minutes and 12 seconds left in the third period. The score, Boston 3, the Islanders 2.
Really embarrassing. When you're misled by some tricky advertising, and you stand in the middle of the showroom like an idiot, and the salesman's going,
Yeah, well, that price is for a totally stripped car.
I mean, if you're going to give me the price of a car, give me the price of a real car.
When your Buick dealer gives you a price, believe it.
I mean, don't insult my intelligence.
Couple of moments ago, this opportunity, Greg Gilbert over to Bossy. The puck rolling into his skates. He was in deep by the time he was able to recover. Put it out in front, off Gaines and into the corner. Gilbert and Kern have had a personal battle all night long. And it was Gilbert's play on Kern that got the puck to Bossy. Here's O'Connell with a shot. Big save. Kruzak from the point. That changed direction. Bruce Crowder centers one. Smith steers it aside. Flatley over on right wing. Feeds it to Tonelli. To Brent Sutter. Grabbed by O'Connell. No penalty call. Kruzak back for the Bruins. Marks behind the net. Toward Kruzak. Around the boards. O'Connell let it go. And Bruce Crowder has dumped it down into the Islanders' zone. Tersong goes back for it. Not too many icings in this game. Bruce Crowder in for the puck, and his shot is grabbed by Smith. The Islanders seem to nonchalant it a little bit, and the Bruins jumped right on top of them. Let's take another look at the play. The Islanders a little slow in moving it around the board and getting to the puck, really. And Bruce Crowder came screaming in on right wing. A shot up from the left side. Between the elbow and the chest of Bill Smith, and then into the catching glove. Peterson out to take the draw for the Bruins. Trottier for the Islanders, and it went to Potvin. Around to the right side, that's Wayne Sutter. The Butch scoring. He's checked by Middleton. Rick Middleton on the backhand, turning. Lost the puck. Trottier pokes it into center ice and gets tripped up by Bork. Loose puck. Krushelnyski knocked down. Goring is upended. Left on Peterson's stick, actually, and the Bruins have to go back, or at least the Islanders, I should say, have to go back. Potvin got it to Morrow. Up the right side, out of the reach of Dwayne Sutter. Again, there'll be no icing. Keens cuts it off back of the net, gave it to Bork. Around the boards for Middleton to Peterson. Krushelnyski. It's over the line. Morrow took him off the puck, and there's Potvin with it. Potvin up the left side. That's Gillies. Over to Dwayne Sutter. Pass to Gillies is behind him. When he picked it up, he is offside at the Boston line. We have 6 minutes and 47 seconds left in the third period. A break in the action. The Bruins 3, the Islanders 2.
For making business travel a pleasure and providing a bonus program that lets me credit mileage from other airlines to my Eastern account and therefore earn free travel to London, Rome, South America, and other exciting places, it gives me us great pleasure to present these wings to Eastern Airlines. You really earn them. At Eastern, we earn our wings every day.
Face-off coming in the center ice zone. Billy Carroll at center between Nystrom and Bourne for the Islanders. O'Connell has shot it in around the board. Donnelly over on the left side. Nystrom knocks him off the puck. Thomas Johnson picks it up. Johnson from back of the net. Checking out his options. Everybody covered well. Now the pass to Billy Carroll. Carroll at the center ice stripe. Left wing to Bourne. Trying to get in around Keith Crowder, but it's offside. They roll. Donnelly, number 29 for the Bruins, was with the Canadian Olympic team. Dave Donnelly, a left winger, 5'11", 185 pounds. He and Nystrom have been doing a lot of bumping. You look at Keith Crowder, and now Billy Carroll as the Islanders make some changes. And the Bruins are going to counter. Jerry Cheevers opting to go line against line, apparently. Bill Smith, record of 20 wins, 13 losses, and a tie, and on the road, 5 wins, 7 losses, 1 tie, 15, 6, and 0 at home. First time since February 2nd that Al Arbor has given the goaltender back-to-back assignments. Second and fourth, Smith played against St. Louis and Pittsburgh, and it's only the 4th time this year that he has had back-to-back assignments. 3-2, Boston leading with 6 minutes left in the game, third period. Hill backhanded it into the Islanders zone. Boudelier back for it. O'Reilly stuck in, tying up Boudelier on the board. Casper there as well, and there's no further play. A little less than 6 minutes remaining. It was 1-1 at the end of the first period. Brian Trottier scored at the 5-second mark tonight in the opening period, and O'Connell got a power play goal to tie it up. It appeared that O'Reilly had staked the Bruins to a lead in the second period. The goal officially credited now to Bork. And Middleton made it 3-1 on a shorthanded goal. Bossy cut it to 3-2, and that's the way it has stood since 15:25 of the second period. Hill, Casper, and O'Reilly for the Bruins against Trottier, Bossy, and Bourne. Trottier left it for Boudelier. Over to Stefan Persson. Persson across to Bossy. Bossy gets loose on right wing. Lets it go. He scores! Bossy got away from his shadow. Jim Dill cut to the right side and has tied up the hockey game. His second of the night, 47th of the year. Well, they do a lot of talking about Middleton here in Boston, but watch the way Bossy unleashes the shot right at the top of the circle. The goaltender way out of the net. Not giving him a whole lot to shoot at, really. There's Bossy pulling the puck across the line. He had gotten away from number 8. Bork turns. Bossy tees it up. And look where Keens was. Put it right between his legs. 14:25, the time of the goal. So it's 3-3 with 5.5 minutes to play in the third period. Philadelphia is leading Pittsburgh 10-4. Flyers up going on now in the Boston zone. It's been a well-played hockey game. Bruins, Donnelly shooting it in. Bill Smith loves it, dropped it for Langevin. Up the right side to Flatley, long pass. Pinelli moving up, but not in time to get a stick on it, and Brent Sutter recovers. Got it to Langevin, off his stick, and right to Smith, who covers up in the goal crease. Little pushing going on. Brent Sutter is challenged. He's Sutter challenging Brent Sutter, then Fergus. Everybody converges. Bill Smith, as you know, is right in the middle of that as this ball taking place in front of the net. Now Smith is backed out of there and off to the side of the goal. The linesmen, D'Amico and Gauthier, trying to pull people apart. The Islander goal, Bossy, from Paul Boudelier and Stefan Persson. And 14:25. Oh, some penalties being handed out here. Let's get you up to date on next Islander action here on WOR-TV. Sunday night at 7 o'clock, the Islanders and the Buffalo Sabres live from the Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. Then on Saturday the 31st, from the Capitol Center, Landover, Maryland, the Islanders and the Washington Capitals, and that could decide first place. Underline and emphasize the word could decide first place. 7:30 on Saturday the 31st, and the following evening at 7:30, the Islanders and the Penguins. More New York Mets baseball coming up. Grapefruit League action, the Mets and the Pirates, Saturday the 31st, 1:30. The start time from Al Lang Field. Or Stadium now they call it, Al Lang Stadium. You look at Brent Sutter over at the Islander penalty box. He and Keith Crowder draw roughing penalties. 14:49 the time. So the teams at 5 aside, including the goaltenders, to play in the center ice area. Now moving up is Kluzak. It's loose at the line. Recovered the puck into Middleton. To Peterson, to O'Connell. O'Connell's shot blocked by Potvin. Dove in front of it as O'Connell came in to within about 20 feet of Bill Smith. Potvin rolls over. It's up slowly. The sacrifices one makes. Watch the play by Middleton. O'Connell spotting the puck. Potvin moves right out in front of him. Bang. Now Potvin is coming back to the bench. And Al Arbor sending out Thomas Johnson and Ken Morrill. Up front, it'll be Brian Trottier and Bob Ford. For Boston, it remains Peterson, Middleton, Bork, and Kluzak. 4 minutes, 43 seconds remaining. Ryan Lewis has gone over to the Boston bench, and Dan Canny, the trainer, is attending to him. Pete Peters gets a pretty good look. Brian Lewis has been nicked along the left side of his face, right there by the chin, apparently. Aaron Stick, perhaps, up to catch him. The gray-haired gentleman is Dan Canny, who has been a trainer here with the Bruins for many, many years. Let's see what led to this. 22nd year that Dan Canny has been the trainer. There's the referee on the far side. Oh, yeah, the stick did come up. Talking with Scotty Morrison on the first intermission, we could have talked all night, I guess, about the injuries to the refereeing staff. Bruce Hood was hurt in the Islander game at Philadelphia, got back into action, and was hurt again. Dave Newell, a lot of them have had injuries this year. Now Bourne is forced to play into the Boston zone. He and Bork tied it up in the corner. There's going to be a face-off outside the blue line as they rule the Islanders forced the play stoppage. Bourne showing some strength as he went in with Bork. 4 minutes and 27 seconds left. Period 3 here at the Boston Garden. Trottier and Peterson on this draw. Peterson just checked with the Bruin bench. Got the puck, but it goes right to Bossy, who comes in with a drive, and it was bouncing off Kluzak. Bossy holds onto it on right wing, tries to come in. The pass to Johnson went behind him. Johnson picks it up now. Worked it in front of the net, but right to Kluzak. Or Kluzak ahead to Bork, over to Middleton. Middleton trying to come in off left wing, was chased to the corner, centered the puck. There's Peterson. Turns on the board, lost his balance. And now Johnson takes over. Thomas Johnson passes off the boards behind Trottier. Kluzak and Bork worked it back and forth. Gave it to Middleton. Back to Bork. to get away from Bossy, who had moved up on him. This is Bork. He has had more shots on goal than any other player in the league this year. Johnson cleared it out, but they ruled Morrow had knocked it down, and that's the hand pass. 41 seconds remaining in the penalties to Keith Crowder and Brent Sutter. Headed down the home stretch of the regular season, you see the numbers. Third period, 3-3 tie. 3 minutes and 42 seconds left. Ford against Fergus on the face-off. The puck comes out into center ice. O'Connell chasing it. O'Connell across to Kluzak. Around to Mike O'Connell. Kluzak took a hard hit from Gillies after making that pass. Here's O'Connell coming out. O'Connell over center ice, had a rolling puck to contend with, and Bourne knocked it away from him. Kluzak still having trouble with it. Backhands it around the boards. Bill Smith cuts it off. Gave it to Stefan Persson. Across to Potvin. Eddie Potvin leads the Islanders into center ice to the Boston line. Couldn't get away from the check. Fergus got up with him, and here comes Bork. Ray Bork to Fergus. Tom Fergus bumped by Stefan Persson as they go to the board. Persson trying to cover up, and the puck has done so. And the teams are at 6 aside again. We have 2 minutes and 55 seconds remaining. The Islanders have battled back from a 3-1 deficit. Both goals by Mike Bossy, 46th and 47th of the year. They were down 3-1 midway through the second period. Al Arbor has set Trache in to take the face-off. Spinelli and Brent Sutter out there as well. Persson and Potvin. It's Casper at center with O'Reilly and Krushelnyski on the wing. Trache got the draw to Persson. Now to Brent Sutter. Gave it to Tonelli, who backhands it wide of Keene. Picked up in the corner. Plum got it to Krushelnyski. Krushelnyski to Casper. Comes over the line. Can't get through the defense. Johnson knocks Casper down with a good body check, and it clears the puck around off Gauthier and into the Islander players' bench. Souvenir for Jim Pickard. He just throws it up into the crowd. Jimmy Pickard in the dark sweater off the corner of your picture on the left side there. After the puck had come into the bench, just tossed it into the seat. Must have gotten some heat from somebody who felt they were deserving of it. The puck, that is. Now Langevin with a pass to Brent Sutter. To Flatley. That Flatley gets over the line. Gave it to Tonelli, and it rolled off his stick. Tonelli chases Blum to the corner. Tonelli trying to jab it out of his skates. Flatley was there as well. Now O'Reilly and Tonelli end up with their arms around one another, but after the whistle. And they'll face off to the right of the net. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, period 3. And the thoughts begin to turn toward overtime right about now. Jerry Cheevers decides he'll make a late change. Out comes Peterson. Kluzak and Middleton come over the boards as well. Kluzak, a former #1 draft choice for the Boston Bruins. In fact, the Bruins startled much of the hockey people, or many of the hockey people, I should say, when they made him a #1 pick. Big guy. He had been out with a knee injury for most of his last season of junior hockey. He was ready to play, and he's become a much better skater. He's getting a lot of ice time playing with Peterson and Middleton. Potvin shot off the stick of Middleton and up into the seat. They'll face off at the point of the deflection, which is just above the circle to the right of Doug Keene. When you think of all the injuries that the Bruins have had, the Islanders had their share of knee injuries. The Bruins had at least 5 or 6 shoulder injuries this year. That's a lot of key players on the sidelines. Right now, the veteran defenseman, Sean Feldon, the point out. Top had a drive. Oh, off Keene and just wide. He got that one up in a hurry. Tonelli runs into Middleton in a battle for the puck. It came back to Potvin, but outside the line. Potvin unable to clear it back into the Boston zone. Now he does. Chasing it is Flatley. Or Kluzak around the board. Morrow at the right point. Holds it in along the boards. Krushelnyski cleared it to center ice. Peterson is checked by Potvin. Loose puck for Potvin. He's over the line. Tonelli moves in. Potvin shoots. Oh, and it just went wide off Keene. Comes back in the net. Tonelli hooks it out to the side of the goal. Brent Sutter down. Can't make contact with it. Hustles back into his own zone. 1.5 minutes to play. Flatley trying to Fergus. Shot it into the Boston end of the ice. Backboard is Bork. Uses the right wing boards, but it got away from Middleton. Langevin waits and shoots it into the Boston end. Picking it up is Ray Bork. Up the left side to Mill. Across to Middleton and hopped over to his stick, and Langevin goes back for it. Now to Gilbert. Frank Gilbert to Fossey. Fossey knocked down by Crowder. Held the puck. Picked up by Keith Crowder. Lets a shot go, and that's one off Langevin. Langevin takes Crowder into the board. Still with the puck. Trying to come out of the corner is Jack. Keith Crowder can't pick it up. Here's Gilbert on left wing as the Islanders move up 3-on-2. Bossy on right wing. Bossy a drive. Pad stop by Keane. Gauthier with the rebound. Centers. Johnson unable to pick it up, and the Bruins slap it into the center ice area. Langevin runs into Crowder, and they square off right in front of the Islander bench as play has been called. John D'Amico and now Gauthier as well, trying to separate Keith Crowder and Dave Langevin. More of a wrestling match than anything. It comes with 31 seconds remaining. The Islanders have had the better of the play here, better of the scoring opportunities in the third period. A little while back, Denny Potvin had a blast through the feet, actually, of Keens and out the other side of the net. Keith Crowder down on the ice. Let's go back and take a look at the opportunity that Potvin had. There's the shot. Through the skates, off the skate was Keens, and out to his right. Take another look at it. Keens well up on top of the face-off circle. Watch the movement of the skate. Up off his arm, apparently, and out into the corner. Not a skate. There's Keith Crowder in the box. Langevin off as well. These penalties will be at 19:29. And appear to be major penalties as nothing has gone up on the board yet. Here's the opportunity that Mike Bossy had. This is where, again, Keens is up. Shot came off the pads. Bossy with a pair of goals tonight. Here's another angle of that drive. He has shot the puck much better with more authority tonight than he has in recent games. So with 31 seconds left, major penalties for fighting to Langevin and Keith Crowder. Gauthier on the draw against Peterson. Pulled it back to O'Connell on the Boston defense. O'Connell to Bork. Long shot is wide of Bill Smith. Off the boards and cleared out to center by Gilbert. O'Connell picked it up. Gave it to Bork. To Mill. To Peterson, it comes over the line. Middleton stepped in ahead of the play, and we have 13 seconds left. 3-3 tie here at the Boston Garden. Facing overtime, the Islanders, a record of 3 wins, 3 losses, and 2 ties in 8 overtimes this year. 7 of those 8 overtime periods have been on the road. Wins in New Jersey, in Washington, and Los Angeles. Losses on the road to the Rangers, in Winnipeg, and in Calgary. Well, the Calgary game was at home, I'm sorry. The ties were in L.A. and St. Louis. Here's O'Connell feeding the puck, intended for Middleton on right wing. Gilbert knocked it away from him. The Bruins at their own line. Bork a desperation shot, and there's the siren, ending regulation tie. So for the 9th time this season, the Islanders will go to overtime at the end of 60 minutes at the Boston Garden. The score, the Islanders 3, the Bruins 3.
Hey, Jim. Ready to go a couple rounds, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, Chad. How's everything? Ready to go?
You good. I hear the same about you.
Gotta reach deep inside. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light.
The best. It has a taste all its own.
You get your chance.
Enjoy it.
Budweiser Light.
Nissan technology versus the bottom line. The challenge, create room for 5. Power for passing. Outstanding mileage. The solution? Sentra, a major value from Nissan at a sticker price of just $51.99. The Nissan Sentra.
Come alive, come and drive. Major motion from Nissan.
At your Datsun dealer.
Welcome back to the Boston Garden. I'm Jiggs McDonald along with Ed Westfall. Eddie with laryngitis tonight. The Islanders and the Bruins have played a 3-3 tie over regulation time. In the third period, the Bruins had 9 shots on goal. The Islanders had 9 shots. The totals on the night, Boston with 30 shots, the Islanders with 23. But a goal by Mike Bossy, his second of the game, his 47th of the year at 14:25, have put us into overtime. I mentioned the Islander record is 3 wins, 3 losses, 2 ties. The Bruins have not lost in overtime. Boston with a record of a win and 5 ties. They beat Los Angeles in overtime here at the Garden. And ties with the Rangers and Hartford, and on the road, ties in Philadelphia, Vancouver, and Calgary. Jerry Cheevers took a little swig from the water bottle. Gets his team pumped up. Al Arbor back of the Islander bench. Let's see who they'll send out there for this overtime. Of course, they have lost Langevin. Bruins have lost Keith Crowder. They, serving major penalties, would have 31 seconds of playing time left once those penalties have expired. Want to wish a happy birthday. We should have done this earlier. Pauline Lamont in the accounting office of the New York Islanders. She's the gal that corrects all Ralph Saletti's mistakes. Pauline celebrating a birthday, and all of us send her our very best wishes for many more. Now I'll hear from Saletti. Oh, well. Trottier at center ice for the Islanders. Bossy on right wing, Gilbert on the left, Potvin and Persson on the point. The puck went back to Bill Smith. Persson to Potvin. It got away from him. Peterson centered, and it bounced over the stick of Dill as Smith made a good save, but the big rebound ends up in the Boston zone. Kluzak to Peterson. Persson moving up, knocked the puck away from him. Dill is there battling for it, and Trottier digs it off the board. Shot it into the corner to the right of Keane. O'Connell hustles back. Trottier knocks it away from him, but right to Kluzak. Around the board, still trying to clear it out. Bossy stepped into him. Here's Peterson over the line. Peterson dumps it in front field with a chance. Smith the save as he dove off to the right side. The Islanders clear it into the center ice zone. This is Kluzak. Flips it into the Islander territory. Persson riding hurt on Nil as Potvin clears it. Not out. Bork with a drive. Glove save. Oh, my. Bork teed one up at the point. Bill Smith made a dazzling stop off Nil, and now comes up with a big glove save off Bork. We're 52 seconds into the overtime. Let's take another look at some of this action. Here's the shot from the point. Bork. And a man cutting through in front, but Smith just reaches back. Look at those pads spread out. The glove up early. And now the save off Nil as Peterson played it across. There's Nil. In a little deep. And able to make the save. There's a penalty being called against Boston. The Bruins had too many men on the ice. So 52 seconds into the overtime, who says they don't call penalty? Referee Brian Lewis, maybe with some help from the linesman. Fans not too happy with it. The Bruin bench. Now they're going to be shorthanded. The Islanders have not scored a power play goal. They've had only 2 chances. This will be their third. Eddie has some friends watching out in Tucson, Arizona tonight. Bill Oates tuned into WOR. Bill, hope you're enjoying the game. Probably enjoying it more than ever with... I'm sorry, I didn't really mean it that way. 18 suffering with laryngitis. I feel for you. I know what you're going through. No pain, just can't talk. The Islanders' lifetime record at the Boston Garden comes to mind. 5 wins, 14 losses, 5 ties in regular season play. 0-4-1 in their last 5 visits to Boston. And now they'll have a power play advantage. The Bruins have had too many men on the ice. With the man advantage, it's going to be Brent Sutter, John Tonelli, and Bob Nystrom. Paul Boudelier and Thomas Janssen on defense. Middleton and Peterson out there for Boston. O'Connell and Bork as well. The Bruins do have a short-handed goal to their credit tonight, scored by Middleton back in the second period. That snaked Boston to a 3-1 lead at that time. Eddie has just written me a note. Two coaches, communications breakdown. Yeah, could well be. Making changes. Getting somebody out, not getting the other guy off. Now we're set. Well, we were for a moment, but more debris comes out of the stands here at the Boston Garden, delaying things. Sutter against Peterson on the draw, and it's pulled back into the Boston zone. Bork chases it. Nystrom and Brent Sutter in quickly, and Bork has slapped it down the ice. Bill Smith cuts it off. It'll be picked up by Paul Boudelier. Waited for Ginelli to overskate it. Played it to Brent Sutter on the left side. Now to Thomas Johnson, who comes over center ice, shoots it around the boards in the Boston end. Barry Peterson picks it up. Ginelli right on top of him. Brent Sutter knocked it loose into the corner. Sutter feeds the blue line. This is Potvin. Lets it go. Oh, and a good stop by Keene, as that's deflected right in front of us. Here's Brent Sutter holding on to it. Gave it to Johnson, into Sutter. Cuts in off right wing. He shoots off the pads of Keene. Middleton had it, lost it to Nystrom, and his centering attempt cut off and cleared by O'Connell. Now Potvin works it back of the net. Brent Sutter goes to the corner, knocked it away from Bork. Bork able to pick it up. Johnson held it in to Brent Sutter, to Tonelli. Tonelli to Johnson. In along the boards, got it to John Tonelli. They're trying to get the Bruin defense moving around. O'Connell pushing at Nystrom. Oh, and the pass to Brent Sutter went bouncing over his stick. Comes out to center ice. Middleton has it. 45 seconds left in the Islander power play. Krushelnyski into the Islander zone. Off left wing, a drive. Fifth way out to make the save off him, and Bossy picks up the puck. Mike Bossy with 2 minutes and 43 seconds left in overtime. Drops it to Trottier, to Potvin. And he Potvin in front of Trottier, and he was checked by Krushelnyski. Krushelnyski to Ray Bork, and he has dumped it down the ice. Potvin hustles back. 20 seconds remaining in the Bruin penalty. Pearson out to Trottier. To Gilbert on left wing. Gilbert plays it around the board. Sluzak steps in front of Trottier, and now Nill will pick it up. Banks one off the glass. Into the penalty box. 9 seconds remaining in the Boston penalty. 2 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in overtime. The Islanders taking up a game that's already been played by the Washington Capitals. Came in tonight 1 point ahead of them. Here's Potvin with his shot from the point. Deflected right in front of Keene. Good stop. Reached out with the stick, tried to pull it in. Sutter knocked it away from him. And Johnson got it into the corner. Here's the play again. Brent Sutter. Bad save. Middleton trying to clear the rebound. The Islanders applying some pressure. Boston now is calling for a timeout. They've taken a lot of time in making a player change. And now they want an additional 30 seconds. And we'll get it. Only 9 seconds left in their penalty. Doug Keene gets a chance to go over to the bench. Denny Potvin complaining to Brian Lewis about this delay. All kinds of time on the player change, and then they ask for and get the additional 30 seconds. You're allowed 1 timeout per game. At the coach's discretion. Question has to do with whether or not you can take a timeout in the overtime. Apparently so. Al Arbor doesn't seem to think so, but Denny Potvin in quite a animated discussion now with John D'Amico. The linesman doing more of the talking than the referee. Ryan Trottier trying to cool things off. You're not going to put anything over on Mr. D'Amico. If it's in the book, it's also firmly implanted in his mind. He has been a veteran of these wars for many, many years. The Bruins, with all that talking, may have gotten more than a 30-second timeout, as it turns out. Now the referee talking with Peterson. D'Amico hearing it from the Islander bench as he has come to this side of the ice, and Gerard Gauthier will drop the puck. It'll be Trottier and Peterson on the draw. Bossy and Gilbert on the wings for the Islanders. Potvin and Persson move about 10 feet inside the line. The puck drops. Goes to the corner, picked up by Bossy. To the blue line to Potvin, and it got away from him. So that will kill off the penalty time against the Bruins. The team's at 6 aside. We have 2 minutes and 3 seconds left. Potvin from back of the net. Long pass up the right wing to Bossy, who stays onside. Cuts in, shoots, and it went over the crossbar. He was hooked from behind as he went to pull the trigger. Krushelnyski on left wing. He's over the line with a slap shot that misses the net. Comes back to Bork. Ray Bork shot through a screen, tipped, and Smith scoops it up. He was leaning to his right, had to come back and make the save off Middleton. At one end, it was Bossy. At the other end, Middleton, and you couldn't ask for two better sharpshooters. We watch Bork. There's the pass in front as it turned out, and Smith sliding to the right, comes back. It was off the stick of Middleton, and Bill Smith holds on. The other end of the ice. Watch Bork now as Bossy got a half a step on him. Bork just interfered enough with his shooting arm, put him off balance, and he still managed to get the shot away, but too much on it, up over the crossbar. There's the story. 1 minute and 40 seconds left in overtime. Everybody has stayed in their seat. It's like Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals here in Boston. Johnson around the boards. Wayne Sutter tipped it, picks it up, can't get away from Krushelnyski, then was knocked down, and Johnson clears it to Bourne. Bob Bourne is dumped at the center ice. Bork is back. Ray Bork to the left side. Krushelnyski tipped it right to Bourne. At center ice, he and Wayne Sutter get tied up on the board. Peterson and Krushelnyski checking there for Boston. Over the boards comes Clark Gillies. Butch Goring has come out. Johnson and Morrow on defense with Wayne Sutter on right wing. For Boston, it's Peterson, Krushelnyski, and Middleton. They have Kruzak and Bork on defense. Now the Islanders are going to take a 30-second timeout. Since these two teams played here at the Boston Garden back on the 16th of January, the Islanders have picked up 32 points, the Bruins 30. The Islanders went 16-11-0 in the 27 games from that span. The Bruins played 29 games, a record of 14-13-2. They got Steve Kasper back in their lineup this past weekend. Big plus. He's the man who checks so very well against Gretzky anytime they play the Edmonton Oilers, and he has checked well here tonight. They're missing several key people still because of injuries. Dave Silk got back into their lineup the other night after a shoulder injury, and then he was hurt, suffered a twisted knee. Evan Marquardt has missed the last 6 games with sprained ligaments in his right knee. Schoenfeld is out with a shoulder problem. LaPointe, a broken bone in his left hand. He's been out for about 24 games now. And Kasper, who had missed 9 with a shoulder injury, I mentioned, is now back. Eddie has just jotted me a note here that Ray Bork has not left the ice through any of this overtime. Got a look at them as they line up for this face-off at center ice. Peterson pulled it back to Bork. Now to Kluzak. Out to Peterson, to Nil on left wing. Persson rode him into the boards, and the puck went loose for Trottier. Potvin over to Clark Gillies. Gillies around the boards for Bossy on right wing. Bossy jumps it into the center ice zone. Trottier ran into Bork. Gillies picks up the puck. Winds up for a shot that went off Keens and wide of the net. 50 seconds left in overtime. Kluzak moves it up left wing. Peterson dumps it in. Missed here to the side, and there's Potvin in the left wing corner to Gillies. Can't get it out of there. Bork to Middleton, and he clears it across but outside the line. Kluzak has it at center ice. Kluzak up the left wing board. Still has knocked off the puck. Trottier out away from Middleton. Comes over the Boston line. Trottier trying to get it around Kluzak. Lays it back of the net. Bossy will pick it up. Bossy with 20 seconds. Fed it to the point. Here's Morrow with a shot. Keens grabs it and holds on. Gillies and Fergus plugged up in front of the net. Trottier off to the side of the goal. Keens had to look back and forth and able to make the save right here off Kenny Morrow. Watch the front of the net as the puck drifts through. Gillies right there, Trache as well, but no rebound allowed by Keene. Now look at him as he keeps his eye on that puck. A lot of distractions out in front of him, too, but Doug Keene, what a great story it's been this year. The Bruins acquiring him as a free agent. Los Angeles Kings feeling they had no room for him in their system, let alone their big team in L.A., their parent team. And he gets the job here in Boston. Brent Sutter on the faceoff. It went to the corner. O'Connell picks it up with 15 seconds left. O'Connell rounding the net, coming out on the right side, got it into the center ice zone. Potvin was back. The pass off Tonelli's stick, picked up by Bork. 5 seconds left. Grushelnicki bumped by Johnson. And that's going to do it as Tonelli stepped over the line. The horn and the siren go off. The Boston Bruins and the New York Islanders play a 3-3 tie. The Islanders, unable to beat Boston in the regular season a year ago, have an identical record this season of 0-2-1. But they battled back tonight. We're down by a score of 3-1, and a couple of goals by Bossy. One late in the second period, one late in the third period. And the final scores, the New York Islanders 3, the Boston Bruins 3. Back with a recap and our Budweiser Star of the Game selection right after these messages.
You can't build a bike for the Olympics by machine. Each tube's got to be custom fit to transfer weight into forward momentum. After all, a champion should ride a champion.
To everyone who's working hard for America's Olympic efforts, this Bud's for you.
When your Buick dealer gives you a price, believe it. The new front-wheel drive Buick Skyhawk, equipped the way a Buick ought to be, is only $88,07. And that price includes all these extras. Power steering, power brakes, automatic transmission, air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, even front and rear carpet savers. We've made sure the $88,07 includes a lot of Buick comfort and convenience as well as quality. If you price a Buick, you'll buy a Buick.
Clothes make the man, Playboy makes the clothes. They keep you looking pretty much good from your head down to your toes.
Playboy Clothes and Accessories. They've got you covered. From hats to shirts, briefs, rainwear, sportswear, socks, and shoes. Playboy shoes. Dressy, casual, and comfortable. Playboy shoes. They've got the look that makes you feel terrific.
Playboy makes the clothes. Clothes make the man. Playboy makes
A surprise press conference at Gracie Mansion. What's the best place to catch the story? 10-10 wins. All news, all the time.
Back here at the Boston Garden, in overtime, the final score, the New York Islanders and the Boston Bruins in a 3-3 tie. Shots on goal in the third period, 9 by each team. In the overtime, the Bruins had 6 shots on goal. The Islanders had 4. The totals on the night, the Bruins with 36 shots, the Islanders with 27. The only goal in the third period, Mike Bossy, is 47th of the year. Assist to Boudelier and Persson, the goal at 14:25. That tied it, forced the overtime. 10 shots in the extra 5 minutes, and neither team able to score, and it ends up in a 3-3 tie. The Islanders now even in the number of games played with the Washington Capitals, and 2 points ahead of Washington, and they have 1 game remaining, and you'll see that one here on WOR. You were treated to an excellent hockey game tonight. Ryan Trache getting a goal at the 5-second mark of the opening period. Boston coming back, building up a 3-1 lead, and the Islanders chipping away. Mike Bossy getting a pair of goals and forcing the 3-3 tie. The skating was excellent. The goaltending was great. The defense did their job. All in all, an excellent playoff preview, really, between 2 top hockey teams, the Islanders and the Boston Bruins, and it ends up 3-3. Well, our Budweiser Star of the Game selection, we left the choice to Eddie Westfall, and he has jotted down several things about his star, Brian Trache. Not only the goal, but he took all the important face-offs, had a lot of ice time tonight. So Brian Trache, with the key assist, the goal as well, and all the play that he put in, his head selection is the Budweiser Star of the Game. So, Brian, we know that you'll enjoy it. We also have for Brian Trache as our Budweiser Star a nice gift from Asta Sport, a collection of their fabulous reversible fashion fleece coordinates. The original reversible fleece outfits in the United States, Asta Sport Coordinates. They come in 15 colors and are available at Ben Hill men's stores. Once again, the final score, the New York Islanders 3, the Boston Bruins 3. Stanley Cup champion New York Islanders hockey has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, and proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By the Bank of New York, the bank New Yorkers call their own. Datsun Nissan, builders of high-mileage, high-quality cars and trucks for 50 years. Available at your Datsun dealer. By the people of Eastern Airlines. They earn their wings every day. Express Mail, next-day service from the post office. Overnight, we make you look good for less. Brought to you in part by New York, New Jersey Buick dealers. When your New York, New Jersey Buick dealer gives you a price, believe it. By Mobile Detergent Gasoline, power for your everyday needs. Tonight's game was produced by Bill Webb. Commercial coordinator was Curtis Reed. Tonight's game has been brought to you through the facilities coordination of Banda Communications. Be sure to be with us here on WOR-TV on Sunday when the Islanders take on the Buffalo Sabres at 7 o'clock. This has been a presentation of WOR-TV Sports.
If doing business around the world takes too much time, discover the AT&T International Business Network.
Mr. Columbus.
With AT&T, you can reach decision makers everywhere quickly.
Queen Isabella?
Attend an international teleconference
Your Majesties?
But where are you?
without leaving the U.S. Send exact copies of key documents internationally in minutes using fax.
I'm not in the East Indies?
The most cost-effective way, the AT&T International Business Network.
You know, jeans made of Burlington stretch denim with ESP aren't just jeans. They're Jeans Plus.
Incredible comfort.
They're Jeans Plus.
A fantastic fit.
They're ready for you right now in A&S Men's Department. Levi's for men jeans in Burlington's new stretch denim. Now at A&S. Terrific.
Burlington stretch denim. Discover the pluses for yourself.
ESP Extra Stretch Performance Denim. Another first. Made better in America by Burlington.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield is covering New York better than ever because more than 10,000 area doctors have joined us to offer Wraparound Plus. Employees get a broad package of benefits. Management gets a grip on skyrocketing costs because our doctors link their fees to the Consumer Price Index. Call 1-800-554-PLUS and ask about Wraparound Plus. It's a bold new approach for your company from Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Please, Mr. Graziano, hold still.
Relax, Sylvia. You're doing makeup, not miracles.
Show. 3 chances to win. Hey, Pierre, you want the hairdryer?
Oh, let's give him a hat, Whitey.
Or you can play a quinella.
Well, did I knock him out in Buffalo?
Oh, come on, fellas. We gotta look good for OTB.
Is this the beer commercial?
Mars Strawberry?
For everyday excitement, nothing beats OTB.
Now, from WOR-TV, 9 on New Jersey, with Sarah Lee Kessler.
Abandoned metal barrels. Barrels full of chemicals. This is what you'd expect a hazardous waste site to look like. Though you may never have seen one, there are more of them in New Jersey than in any other state. But at many, there are no barrels. Nothing to see. It's what you can't see that can hurt you. The chemicals that could be in your water, or in the air you breathe, or the soil on which you walk.
Hello, I'm Sarah Lee Kessler. This week, 9 on New Jersey takes a look at the problem of hazardous chemicals in our air, water, and soil. New Jersey may be called the Garden State, but it is also a heavily industrial state.
Its citizens have reaped the benefits of its industry, and its industry has made major contributions to the entire country. But there's been a price for these benefits, and for what many critics say is a lack of foresight on the parts of those who create hazardous waste in manufacturing. a lack of foresight, even carelessness and irresponsibility.
It seems sometimes that a new chemical danger crops up somewhere in New Jersey every week.